it was chilling when she warned
Okay,
him
this is great.
on
I
the
don't know what's
tape,
going on,
"You go
but it's
tell a
great
judge,
commentary.
you go tell a jury
So
that
let's
you
listen
and
in.
man were abused." See if they're going to believe that. It is an abuse of the system, and she's done it throughout. Finally, Your Honor, and Mr. Rottenborn makes an excellent point with which I agree, which was that with respect to each of the three statements, Mr. Waldman was clearly identified, even by the tabloid that printed these, well within articles that had both sides represented, that he was Mr. Waldman's attorney. Even the reader of a tabloid understands that when you're getting statements from attorneys, it's going to be forwarding their client's point of view. Mr. Waldman is not the only attorney who has spoken out. Robbie Kaplan, who was Ms. Heard's second attorney. So Ms. Heard started out with Eric George. He made comments to the press.
Objection, Your Honor. Again, this is so much further beyond what Your Honor is addressing.
I'm finishing up, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm finishing up. My point, Your Honor, and it's on point, is that Mr. George made statements supporting Ms. Heard's position. Ms. Kaplan made very clear statements supporting her client's position on the merits, and so did Mr. Waldman. But everybody knows when reading those that those are statements partisan. So for the reasons that we've stated and the reasons set forth in the brief, we respectfully submit that the court should grant the motion to strike, or in light of the fact that Mr. Depp may reappear, at the very least, take these motions under advisement until the close of all evidence. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, in this matter, I've reviewed all the defendant's evidence as to her counterclaim, and I've considered the arguments of her counsel and plaintiff's counsel. First, to address a few issues that I believe are outside the motion to strike, and that's as to the slap defense. The slap defense is just that, it's a defense, so it's really not considered in a motion to strike. Having said that, we went down that legal road on Friday as far as the slap defense goes, as far as the jury instructions. In this particular case, if the plaintiff prevails, it must be with actual malice. Therefore, if it's with actual malice, immunity does not apply under that statute. So we will deal with that with jury instructions, and we have. As to independent contractor, again, I think it's outside the motion to strike. However, Mr. Waldman was plaintiff's attorney since 2016. Before the initiation of litigation, there is evidence that Mr. Waldman had a certain role during the prior divorce proceedings in the UK case. Additionally, there is evidence that shows his legal representation was broader than just a limited litigation.
They're trying to bring in
the
attorneys,
an attorney as an independent contractor. So the only evidence in this case to this point is that Mr. Waldman was an agent to Mr. Depp, and that is the basis to weigh the motion to strike. As far as the opinions argument, again, I think that is outside the motion to strike. The opinions argument, the court has already ruled on this matter as to the three statements that are at issue in the counterclaim, ruled that they were not opinion at the demur and at summary judgment. So that argument will not be part of the motion to strike. So when assessing a motion to strike, the court accepts the favorable evidence adduced as true towards the non-moving party. The court cannot reject any inference from the evidence favorable to the non-moving party unless it would defy logic and common sense. When there is any doubt and question, the court should overrule a motion to strike. Agency may be inferred from the conduct of the parties and from surrounding facts and circumstances. When there is no direct evidence, circumstances may, and usually are, relied upon to determine whether an agency relationship exists. A principal is liable for the tortious acts of his agent if the agent was performing his principal's business and acting within the scope of his agency. If an agent's tortious act arises from their agency relationship as enacted in part to service the principal can be held liable for the tort. Here, the alleged tort is defamation. Besides demonstrating the agency relationship, the defendant must prove Mr. Waldman published an actionable statement, meaning a statement that is both false and defamatory, with the requisite intent. As to agency, Mr. Waldman was plaintiff's attorney at the time of the alleged defamatory statements were made. Mr. Waldman does not deny this, and neither does the plaintiff. Moreover, Mr. Waldman made the allegedly defamatory statements about the defendant during the proceedings of this action and interacted with the defendant once the statements were made while still representing the plaintiff. Taking the surrounding circumstances as a whole, an agency relationship can be inferred, and thus a scintilla of evidence regarding agency must be turned over to the jury. In addition, the jury may infer that Mr. Waldman made these specific statements to a third party to service plaintiff by portraying defendant as an opposing litigant in a negative light. It is not disputed that Mr. Waldman published statements and that there is a question as to whether statements are false, and both parties disagree and have presented conflicting evidence as such. As to actual malice, Mr. Waldman made the counterclaim statements after he met with his client. In addition, there is evidence the plaintiff was with Mr. Waldman at a meeting in February 2020 with the Daily Mail Online. Further, defendant claimed that she met with Mr. Waldman where he threw the paper containing the counterclaim statements within them. Consequently, there is more than a scintilla of evidence that a reasonable juror may infer Mr. Waldman made the counterclaim statements while realizing they were false or with a reckless disregard for their truth. It is not my role to measure the veracity or weight of the evidence. The Fourth Circuit and the Virginia Supreme Court have made it crystal clear that actual malice is a question for the fact finder. So therefore, the plaintiff's motion to strike is denied. Okay? Thank you. Is there any other preliminary matters before the jury? Yes, sir.
Ooh.
Okay.
So are they getting ready to go into closing? I know, I'm late to the show. Alright, well, they're having their sidebar. I'm going to step out for a second. Let me know in the chat what I missed. Alexa, upstairs on. Ziggy, upstairs 100. Alright, I'm back. Who's that dude? I should have made a sandwich before I started. You know what I ought to do? I ought to do a I'd like to take you guys with me shopping on Amazon. You really get to see how crazy my mind goes. Logitech has a bunch of headphones on sale. Doot 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 doot. You know they're just putting in their lunch orders, right? So did y'all sleep well last night? I know I didn't. This is boring. It was scathing when I started, and now it's dumb. Alright, let's see here. All right, since I covered this while it was happening live, Biden's words on Taiwan leave allies in an awkward spot. This is the New York Times. So maybe 3 weeks before we're done reading this. In before President Biden traveled to Tokyo this week to strengthen a partnership with Australia, India, and Japan. India is where Will Smith is playing with yoga. The alliance was struggling to present a united front as India refrained from condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Why would they? Now the remarks that President Biden made about Taiwan on Monday, the Indo-Pacific bloc is facing another unexpected complication. On the eve of a summit of the four nations, Mr. Biden said he would defend the Democratic Island militarily if it were invaded by China, sending shockwaves around the globe and placing the allies in a tricky position as they seek to avoid further antagonizing Beijing. How chicken shit is it that you only pick on people that you're bigger than? On Tuesday in Tokyo, Mr. Biden sought to temper his comments, standing alongside with three other leaders in a grouping known as the Quad. What a stupid-ass name. America is not part of a group. We are America. We are the best in the world. We are the world's light. Everybody looks up to America. We don't group, okay? That's un-American. The very thought of it should be shameful to Americans. It should upset you. He said his administration had not abandoned the strategic ambiguity over Taiwan. I want to see him say the word strategic ambiguity. Embraced by the United States, asked if he would send in troops of China to attack Taiwan, Biden said the policy has not changed at all. So yes, because that is the policy. Still his comments the day before when he answered yes after being asked by a reporter if he was willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan, left political leaders around the world trying to determine his true thinking and calibrate their own positions. I'm going to tell you right now, here's the problem. They're trying to determine his true thinking. Let me tell you what, you sniveling little uppity up poop-stained Republicans in D.C. and the bureaucracies. Yeah, that's right. I call you poop stains, okay? Because you're smug little sniveling turds. I know who you are. I've been around you. I've seen you. I'm telling you right now, knock it off. Quit trying to play. You turned Washington, D.C. into Facebook. Stop it. The nation is bigger and better than this, okay? You don't need to be standing there trying to appease everybody. You need to continually lead the way. That's how we do it. That's how we do it in America. That's how I do it on this channel. We never stop. We never apologize, and we never suck up to the insufferables. Mr. Biden's remarks immediately and probably unwanted challenge for Australia's new Prime Minister. I mean, I don't care. Australia's, they need, all these people are begging for the chains of, wait a second, is that Rahm Emanuel? That is Rahm Emanuel. He's a U.S. ambassador to Japan. Oh my gosh. Japan might be the nicest U.S. embassy there is. Why do we have U.S. embassies? We need to shut those down. I'd rather look at this. Who is Erin Jane Plummer? Another jabber. Erin Jane Plummer. Plummer. Look her up and tell me if you don't think it's another jab. What is taking so long? That girl is the before picture. Holy cow. A shake for breakfast, a shake for lunch, and a sensible dinner. Oh, yeah, Maggie, wouldn't you, though? Don't you love... Here's the thing. This is what I love about attorneys. See how they're all up here? They're not fighting or anything. They get back, and they're going to be standing at their podiums just tearing into each other. Yeah, I know it's not lunch. It's an early... well, you know, when you're in the Caribbean like Johnny... It's the way it is. So, you don't know when lunch is going to happen. You know, if you're given, like, figs for breakfast, but you're going to have jerk chicken for lunch, you just skip breakfast. That's why the Bloody Mary was invented. Oh, martini breakfast. Yeah, that would have been better. Chick-fil-A is still serving. Should I go? Should I just leave? Go up there? Yes, Jules, they are. They are. Well, you know, here's the thing. I was thinking I'd start this and just run it through lunch. Because what happened was I just yawned. It's lunchtime somewhere, that's right. So, no, what happened was, this was really good when I turned it on. There's a motion to strike. They're trying to figure out agency with an attorney. I was like, ooh, this is good stuff. And then they've been going here for the next 15 minutes talking about what their tea time is. Actually, I've never known a lawyer to play golf, and I think they should. They'd be better. They'd be mentally healthier. Let's see what happened. Yeah. Holy cow. Oh, this is a great story. Oh, and there's video. Okay, look. Hang on, wait a second. I want to watch the video first. Oh, okay, that's a cute bear. Okay, that's not a problem. Alright, I'm going to read this to y'all. A Wisconsin couple said they were forced to kill a black bear after it jumped through a window, attacked them in their kitchen, according to the Taylor County Sheriff's Office in Medford. The husband and wife, both unnamed by authorities. Yeah, why would you name them? That's how screwed up it is, okay? Like, you know the report's like, they don't have a name. They killed Yogi. They used a kitchen knife before the husband shot and killed the animal in their kitchen. The bear was eating from the family's bird feeder. Oh, it is the bird. Or the thing. The bear immediately turned and charged at the house, breaking through the window and into the house and immediately attacked. It's coming right for us. Oh my gosh, in Alaska, a U.S. Army soldier killed a bear, was killed in a bear attack during training. Y'all don't realize, man, all this stuff, everything, public schools, you know, they always talk to you about, what's that stuff called? Urban sprawl. Man, damn it, I am thinking about going to Chick-fil-A now. Fall Storm, you suck. I may just leave this on. Get Chick-fil-A, come back. Wisconsin has 24,000 bears. The husband, let's see here, the couple was injured in a fight, sustaining several bite marks. Young children were asleep in the house when the husband shot and killed the bear. Well, why do we have guns? Because shit out there wants to eat you. You're on the food chain. Alright, this is Jimmy! This has been a philosophy of mine for most of my life. True, Maggie. True. Well, wait a second, Jimmy. There's ads on Netflix now? Dude, that's the whole point. That's the whole selling point. No ads. Oh, man. This streaming stuff, dude, it's gone crazy. I'm telling you, the best one for me is to have YouTube Premium, which I don't have anymore. It's like $12 a month. No ads. It's amazing how much more content you watch on YouTube. I mean, there's so much cool stuff. You know, I'm a big proponent of Kentucky. Tried to have Chick-fil-A the other day. The line is still stupidly long. It's not just chicken. Oh. Jules, the line goes by fast. It's fast. It's lightning fast. Oh, I'm thinking about going to it. You guys know that, right? Like, I would walk away and leave the stream on. Come back in 30 minutes. Wait, can I do this on my phone now?
All right, are we ready for the jury then?
Oh, the jury's not even in there. It's 10 o'clock and the jury's not even there. I feel ultra lied to. Oh, man. I need to post the poll. Do I go Chick-fil-A or do I stay here? What do you guys want me to do? If I could video on at Chick-fil-A, that'd be so awesome. Wait a second, can I invite myself? Oh, now you got three
Good morning,
things
ladies and
here.
gentlemen. I apologize. We have a few housekeeping matters to take care of, but thank you. You can have your seat. right, your next witness.
Your Honor, on behalf of defendant and counterclaimant Amber Heard, we rest.
All right, thank you.
Oh, they
rebuttal
rest.
Yes, Your
Oh, they're
Honor,
resting.
Mr. Depp calls Walter Hamada of Warner Brothers.
All right, Mr. Hamada.
Your Honor, just to clarify, this is by deposition, so we may need
Oh,
that.
okay, well, okay.
I apologize, I should have provided notice.
That's all right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
If we could get the, yeah.
Why not? Come on.
Ramada, what, do you work for Warner Brothers Entertainment, Inc.?
Yes, I do.
In what capacity?
Uh-oh. White
My
Rabbit
title
says
is
I need to go get
president of
chicken.
DC-based film productions for Warner Brothers.
What, if anything?
Guys, I
you
sent
did
myself a
prepare
link.
To testify for Warner Brothers as to topics 2 through 18.
I did not do anything to prepare for this, other than the meeting that I had with the attorneys.
Did Warner Brothers have a contract
Jules says go for it.
with Amber Heard?
All right, guys, I'm going to leave this on. I'm going to come
for
back.
Aquaman 2?
This will be fun. I'm going to try to
Yes,
get this
there
while
was
I'm gone.
we had an option agreement for her
All right.
for Aquaman 2.
Love you guys. I'll see you in a bit.
Do you know what it is?
It looks like a standard contract between an actor and the studio.
And which actor was involved in this? Which actor was a party to this contract?
Amber Heard. It's a contract for Amber Heard for the role of Mura in Aquaman and its series.
Which studio contracted with Amber Heard?
Warner Brothers.
When did you come to be the president of DC?
At the beginning of 2018.
Mr. Hamada, was Ms. Heard ever released by Warner Brothers from the Aquaman 2 contract, or what you call the option agreement?
No.
Was she released from her Aquaman 2 contract on or about February 22, 2021?
No.
Was Ms. Heard ever rehired for Aquaman 2 by Warner Brothers?
No.
Did Ms. Heard receive a pay increase for Aquaman 2?
No.
Why not?
As a rule, as a company, we go through a lot of trouble when we make our deals with our actors. We get options on them for subsequent movies. And I think traditionally, prior to me joining the company, every option was renegotiated. And one of the things that we were trying to put a rein in on was not renegotiating every deal, with the understanding that people come in and make these deals and they have an understanding that there will be options and that there is a deal in place. And it was a big part of our philosophy that we were going to hold people to their options moving forward.
But did Warner Brothers at any point in time reduce Ms. Heard's role in Aquaman 2?
The role in the film the size of the role in the film that she has was determined in the early development of the script, which would have happened in 2018, I would say.
Well,
So and from there, beyond normal development, the role sort of the character's involvement in the story was sort of what it was from the beginning.
Was her role ever reduced for any reason?
No, I mean, again, from the early stages of the development of the script, the movie was built around the character of Arthur and the character of Orm, Arthur being Jason Momoa and Orm being Patrick Wilson. So they were always the two co-leads of the movie.
Did Warner Brothers ever plan to portray Ms. Heard as the co-lead in Aquaman 2?
No, it was the movie was always pitched as a buddy comedy between Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson.
Was Ms. Heard cast in Aquaman?
Yes, she was.
Was Ms. Heard cast in Aquaman 2?
Yes, she was.
Was Ms. Heard paid for her services in Aquaman 1?
Yes.
Was Ms. Heard paid for her services in Aquaman 2?
Yes.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected in any way by anything said by Johnny Depp?
No.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected by anything said by Adam Waldman?
No.
Was her compensation for Aquaman 2 affected by anything said by anybody representing Johnny Depp?
No.
Was there any delay in Warner Brothers exercising the option to cast Ms. Heard in Aquaman 2?
Yes, there was.
How long a delay was there?
I don't know, probably weeks.
What was the cause of the delay?
There were conversations about potentially recasting.
Who was the producer?
Peter Safran,
Who was the director?
James Wan.
Did Warner Brothers believe that those concerns were legitimate?
Yeah, I mean, I had no reason not to believe the director and the producer of the movie.
And you are testifying today as a representative of Warner, correct?
Yes, I am.
What, if any, creative concerns did Warner Brothers have about casting Amber Heard as Mura in Aquaman 2?
It was the concerns that were brought up at the wrap of the first movie, production of the first movie, which is the issue of chemistry. Did the two have chemistry? I think editorially they were able to make that relationship work in the first movie, but there was a concern that it took a lot of effort to get there. And would we be better off recasting, finding someone who had better, more natural chemistry with Jason Momoa and move forward that way?
Did Warner Brothers take any steps affirmatively to audition other actresses for the role of Mura in Aquaman 2?
No, we did not.
Other than the creative concerns and concerns about chemistry you testified about, was there any other reason Warner Brothers delayed in picking up Ms. Heard's option for Aquaman 2?
No, it was all concerns about whether she was the right bit of casting for the movie.
What role, if any, did Ms. Heard's dispute with Johnny Depp have in Warner Brothers' delay picking up Ms. Heard's option for Aquaman 2?
There was none from our end.
At any point in time, was Warner Brothers considering paying Ms. Heard more money for Aquaman 2 than is set forth in the option contract you previously identified?
No, as I said, we were determined to hold our actors to their option agreements.
Would Warner Brothers have paid Ms. Heard more money on Aquaman 2 if it had picked up her option earlier?
No.
At any time from the beginning of history through today, did Warner Brothers ever release Ms. Heard from the Aquaman 2 contract?
No.
At any point in time from the beginning of history to today, did Warner Brothers rehire Ms. Heard for Aquaman 2?
No, because we just picked up her option.
And when is the last time you spoke with Rob Cohen relating in any manner to whether to exercise the option on Amber Heard for Aquaman 2?
No, it would have been at the same time that I was having those conversations with Peter Safran
So
in 2020.
Did you speak with Zack Snyder at all relating to whether to exercise the option for Amber Heard on Aquaman 2?
No, I've not had any conversations with Zack Snyder.
Did you speak at all with Jason Momoa in preparation for your deposition today?
No.
Have you ever spoken with Jason Momoa about any issues relating to chemistry between he and Amber Heard?
Yes.
When did you speak with Jason Momoa about chemistry issues between he and Amber Heard?
It would have been in that same time period where we were prior to green light of the movie.
Now, you were asked some questions about scripts. Did you review any of the drafts of the script for Aquaman 2?
Yes.
When?
I part of my role is I read all the drafts of the scripts as they come in.
When was the first script for Aquaman 2?
Oh boy. I cannot tell you. Probably in 2018, latter part of 2018 would be my guess.
And how many versions of the script had been written by the beginning of 2021 for Aquaman 2?
Oh, there were probably half dozen drafts of the script.
All right, what, if anything, did Rob Cohen say to you about chemistry? What specifically about the chemistry between Amber Heard and Jason Momoa?
Just the fact that they didn't really have a lot of chemistry together. The reality is it's not uncommon on movies for two leads to not have chemistry, and that it's sort of movie magic and editorial, the ability to sort of put performances together, and with the magic of, a great score and how you put the pieces together, you can fabricate sort of that chemistry. And so I think at the end of the day, I think if you watch the movie, they look like they had great chemistry. But I just know that through the course of the post-production that it took a lot of effort to get there. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's very easy. You just put the characters on the screen together and they work. And sometimes it's harder. And so...
Can you give me anything more specific about what it was with Amber Heard and Jason Momoa that was difficult for the chemistry?
No, because it's like what makes a movie star a movie star. Like you know it when you see it, and the chemistry wasn't there.
Now, you've used the term fabricated a number of times. What did you do to fabricate the chemistry between Amber Heard and Jason Momoa?
Well, those are just, it's editorial. A good editor and a good filmmaker can pick the right takes, can pick the right moments, and put scenes together. Again, score is a big, the music in a scene makes a big difference. It can make a happy scene feel sadder or a sad scene feel happier. And so it was sort of it's just the magic of post-production, editing, sound design, music, etc.
And what do you mean by fabricating, though? I mean, were they literally falsifying, or were they just picking the best music? Let me finish my question. Were they picking the best music and picking the best looks because that's their job and that's what you do on every scene?
That is what we do in post-production. That's what filmmakers do. This is on any production, you're doing that. You're putting performances together. Sometimes it's easier than others. This one was more difficult because of the lack of chemistry between the two. But they were able to, James Wan and the editor were able to get it to a place where the end result actually works, and it's great.
And in fact, that's the job of every filmmaker, right? Is to put all the combinations together to make the most successful production.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what has been marked as exhibit number 5. It's ALH 18247. And this is a text message exchange between James Wan and Amber Heard. And you mentioned James Wan was the director of Aquaman 2, is that correct? And
That's correct.
And Aquaman, the first one, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And James is texting to Amber on August 25, 2018. You rated really high with the audience, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Do you see that?
Yes.
This is August 25, 2018. What's going on August 25, 2018 that would cause the director to send a text message to Amber saying,
That'd be a test screening. So during our post-production of movie, we test the movie with an audience, and the audience tells us what they liked and what they didn't like. And so that's what he's referring to there.
and they really liked Amber Heard, correct?
Yes, she did. She tested well.
It hit $1 billion, is that correct?
Yeah.
And more specifically, did you play any role in the determination to communicate to Amber's representatives that Warner Brothers was considering not exercising her option?
Yeah, probably in the sense of we had the conversations, and I believe, if I recall, we had, that's where Peter Safran offered to reach out to the agent and express which direction we were leaning.
Have you seen any document that says there was any chemistry issues between Amber Heard and Jason Momoa in Aquaman 1?
Documents? No, I mean, those were all conversations.
But if Jason came back and James Wan came back, you were guaranteeing that Amber Heard would play Mura, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And Jason Momoa was able to negotiate a different compensation structure, was he not, for Aquaman 2?
That's true. He did renegotiate.
Now, Aquaman was the highest grossing DC film ever for Warner Brothers, was it not?
Yes, it was.
And what, if any, issues did you have with Amber Heard in Aquaman 2?
My understanding is actually the production went very smoothly.
All right, thank you. Your next witness.
Your Honor, we call Dr. Colburn next, but I know we have a preliminary matter that we need to deal with briefly, if we may approach.
Sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize again. We have a few things to take care of. We're just going to go ahead and take our morning recess now for 15 minutes. Do not discuss the case and do not talk to anybody, okay? Do not do any outside research. Sorry, that was the same thing. Take a break. All right. And if the doctor testifies, then is that WebEx? Okay, so I'll get that set up too while we take the break as well. All right, we'll go ahead and take a break. Let's make it 10:50 to give them time to look at everything, okay? Thank you.
All right.
Man, what's going on now? They're taking a break. They haven't even had trial yet. No trial and straight to break. By the way, I'm back. Thank you all. The girls at Chick-fil-A said to tell everybody hi. The puppies got nuggets. It's a good day. But I'll tell you what, y'all would love Chick-fil-A. Oh, man. Wait a second. You can't do this. You can't do that. No, you gotta go sit on that jury. We need good people. Jurors are most important people in America. You're the protectors and the enforcers of the spirit of the law. Did we go... Really? I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised they haven't made it to where the you have to pay for that out of your pocket if you're a plaintiff or a defendant. They put so many taxes on the court system, it's ridiculous. Well, in 7 minutes, I'll be done chewing. I hear the coonhound yelling outside right now. I guarantee you it's those poodles she hates. Well, actually, she hates the poodle lady, but anyway. I'll be back. Well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to mute so I can chew. All right. I'm going to switch over to Ricada real quick because I like Andrew. Forgot his last name. But anyway, I dig the guy who's on here. Don't worry, I'm going to be still here. I'm finishing up. I got a biscuit here. You know, it's like having a beverage.
The Bronco, the former Bronco, is being charged with simple assault.
A thrown punch is normally just going to be a simple battery.
Yeah, but they're saying
New York tends to reverse the term, so they would call it a simple assault. I don't know why they do that. But.
Yeah, Minnesota we call it assault too, which annoys me. But yeah, but if he's getting, you said he was the one. You said he was the one throwing the punch back. So there must be, there may be some other context there that's missing.
Right.
Elite Neo. Hey, Andrew, we use WebEx at my workplace for all of our instant messaging and video conferencing needs. I feel attacked.
WebEx.
Although some of my teammates are lead included, wish we had Microsoft Teams instead.
How stupid.
Take that as you will.
Okay.
You did. You took it as you will. Perfect. Catherine Smith. Branka, been watching you pre-Chauvin and Nick. Pure intellectual gold, tie or no tie.
Well, that's very kind of.
No tie, Branka, and Rackets is freaking magical. Watch it, peeps, and pledge that like button. Thank you very much, Catherine.
And for those who like what I do, you might sign up for one of our free self-defense law webinars at hardtoconvict.com, right there under my picture.
You do those for free?
Yeah. Just about every week. We canceled this week because I wanted to cover the trial, but just about every Wednesday we do one.
Is it like one of those like a timeshare thing? It's like, oh, come to this free thing. There's muffins. And then you get in there and they just lock the door.
No, you can leave anytime you want. We don't lock your computer. It's about an hour and a half of what I think is useful content. And then, of course, we do pitch stuff at the end, but you don't have to stay for the pitch.
Don't worry about the gas hiss that you hear seeping into your office right now as you watch this.
It locks out your keyboard.
Lay fun. Thanks for your coverage and awesome streams. Love it. Take my money. I will. Thank you. Jordan Bolduc. With all due respect to the judge, she looks like Henry Winkler. I still think Rick Moranis. I mean, man, that is an apt comparison. Adam Young, you think Depp's team will try to put Kate Moss on after Heard's time runs out? I saw Runkle and Rob talking about it. I mean, no doubt they're going to try and strategize, but the part you can't strategize around is no matter how you structure your witness order, they can reserve the time. Like, they don't have to spend time crossing anybody if they don't want to. So if you try and put garbage witnesses up to soak up time and they see that they're garbage witnesses, they're just not going to, do anything. And you'll end up burning your own time. And for every hour that they want to bleed out of the other side, I would say they likely to reliably get them to burn time. They need to spend at least a 2-to-1 ratio of minutes, maybe 3-to-1, of getting direct testimony that they will have time countering. Cross-exam is necessarily shorter. You have these directed questions for a reason. You have leading questions, so you don't have to go through all the nonsense. The foundation about who the person is and why they're
he's explaining that
is already laid on direct. So again, trying to game it out is a strategy that could work, but it can also backfire on you. You could waste a bunch of time with frivolity. And
okay, I hate courtroom strategy.
Of course, one
I
benefit
absolutely
of putting
hate
people
it.
on the list. I mean, you don't have to call them, and if you put people on the list, then the other side has to spend time and resources preparing.
Here's the thing,
with that perspective, just like the
when you start thinking about courtroom strategy,
Depp, right? And then
you overthink it.
When Amber's witness list, I think in general was something like 80 people long. They clearly did not call 80. They called like 9 or something.
I don't know. It's
to
me.
Ceiling fan,
hate
microwave, cars and coffee, door frame, bed bugs, 17 across -14.
Not yours, Labrador. Labrador likes to eat napkins. And they aren't his to eat.
What the hell is that? Louis says all Karens from now on are Ambers. Ooh, that would be bad. That would actually be
Ooh.
like the worst thing that could happen to
That
someone
is a new
if,
name on
like,
the
I
show
don't know,
because
a
we have
president or
Karen in
something
Canada.
renamed Karen.
She
into
Billy?
your name. In
We're
honor
not
of
going to call them
so-and-so,
Karens
Karens
anymore.
are
We're going to
now
call them
Karens.
Ambers. Now, you guys remind me of that, okay?
Nuclear codes, crossword puzzle, timekeeping. I'm now a spy. A riddle. What the hell was that? There you go.
Oh,
here
she's
we go.
back.
Yes, sir. Okay. Approach.
Zach Donald, FYI, Morgan Tremaine on the witness list is an ex-TMZ reporter. Oh, okay. Well, then that would be how'd you get the tapes? Miss Heard disclosed this to you? Okay, there you go.
I think the sidebars here are just to make
Were you
the
tipped off about
judge
the
feel
divorce
important.
proceedings, all that stuff? Just going straight to the credibility of Amber Heard, and anything like that can be absolutely brutal. This case is about whether or not people told the truth. Like that's ultimately what defamation is. Prove that you're telling the truth when you want to destroy my reputation. And so if you show someone to be a liar based on what they've represented to the jury is going to have a hard time being lied to by someone and then finding that they told the truth in a different place. So that's why it's such a critical.
What I
thing
like about
to
piggybacking
kind of
on Ricada here is because I agree with him philosophically.
Rick Nikita
and
says breaking
legally.
news: Arby's now sells hamburgers. Why? Just eat a roast beef sandwich. Jason Grimm, if the law teams were swapped, how would you predict the trial would be perceived at this point? Due time in the trial. This point in time in the trial. I personally believe that one, I think Elaine would be trying to screw up Johnny's case. Not
Cool
trying,
Frog, you
would
run
be
the chat,
effectively
man.
Screwing up his case by being himself. I think she's.
You absolutely do.
She's just.
I realized
demonstrated
that
she-
Friday.
whatever
It's like, where's
competence she may
Cool
have
Frog
had in her
at? I
career
forgot you were
as an
traveling.
attorney, I don't think she has it anymore. And I think now she might be banking on reputation.
It's nice having you
or
back,
marketing
buddy.
on reputation. But I don't see any reason I would ever hire Elaine to do any legal work at all.
I mean, I've never seen her in a case before, nor would I expect to. I presume you haven't either.
Now, someone said that they've pulled transcripts of her and that she's atrocious, but I
Yeah,
don't.
well.
I mean, who knows?
But I mean,
based
I
on-
think it's hard. In some sense, it's hard to say, right? Because I think Depp has the legal merit in this case, and so it's an easier case to argue when you have the legal merit. That said, I mean, certainly Camille.
Yeah, Bronco's
comes
got a
across
point
as
there.
way,
The legal merit.
better of an attorney than anything Elaine's doing here.
Yes, and one of the things I was going to say is I think the crippling thing for Amber Heard's team is Amber Heard. I honestly think this counterclaim was a very poor choice. I think it exposed way too much of Amber Heard's, I guess, issues to be brought in to the trial that otherwise would not be. We wouldn't have psychiatric testimony, most likely, if there was no counterclaim.
Right.
So that was court-ordered evaluations of Amber Heard by both sides, and nothing for Johnny Depp because he's not claiming emotional damage. Only she is. So, but yeah, I think the big hurdle on Amber's side is Amber Heard, and so I think you'd see a lot of the similar issues that are going on in the case because I think she's directing that. Rottenborn, as much as I don't like him, is a competent. He seems to be a pretty competent attorney, and I don't think that he's the cause of
Ready for
many
the jury?
problems. He hasn't demonstrated anything to lead me to that conclusion.
He doesn't just shrug in front of the jury and say, "Oh, I'm trying."
Right? Yeah.
Sir, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you count to 5 for me?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's like a roadside sobriety test.
Just trying to get you on the big screen. We're waiting for the jury.
Was
Doing
Grandma on
alphabet
legal
backwards,
mindset
sir.
today?
Thank you.
Don Booze says,
I
I'm
turn him
paralyzed and
on.
I take gabapentin for my nerve
I
pain.
just read that in Discord.
Oh, thank you. Tara Rayner, here in Ontario, Canada, assault charges are usually laid against the
Dude,
least
check out
injured.
Johnny's suit.
Unsure if that's a factor with the Broncos, dude.
He
Well,
looks
let's
like
talk
he's getting ready to
about
get on
the
a
guy
plane
that
and go to the
Tyson
Caribbean
beat.
after this.
How many can say I pissed off Mike Tyson? and
That
I
is an
lost?
awesome suit. Bold move.
Do you want to press charges? No.
Just gonna get a matching face tattoo.
Yeah. In the
Be seated.
in
All
the
right, your
U.S.
next witness.
We called Dr. Colbert.
charges
Sir,
are.
if you could raise your right hand.
I have
So this is
swear.
the hand doctor. This is the guy who actually saw and treated Johnny Depp's hand, as opposed to the hurt
Oh, okay,
expert
cool.
who never even saw the injury.
All right, sir, you can put your hand down, and any documents you have, if you could put them away and just testify from your memory, okay, sir? Thank you.
Listen, I got another.
Your question.
It's weird he wouldn't know that.
Where?
Sorry, guys.
Could you please state your full
She's
name
quiet.
for the record?
David Allen Colbert.
And what is your profession?
Hand doctor.
I'm a plastic and hand surgeon.
Hang on a second.
And how long have you been a plastic and hand surgeon?
Been in practice for 26 years
Where do you currently work?
at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center
How long have you worked there?
for the past 26 years.
Do you know the plaintiff in this action, Johnny Depp?
I do.
And how do you know Mr. Depp?
I had taken care of him when he had injured his hand.
He injured his hand.
When did
There
Mr.
you go.
Depp become your patient?
Should have been I put his finger back on when some bitch cut it off.
That's why I love Branca.
2015.
Sorry.
And
That's
what
why I
type
love
of
him.
treatment did you provide to Mr. Depp?
He had a fracture of his finger with soft tissue loss. And so we reconstructed his finger.
Bitch, cut
When
it
did you
off.
perform the first surgery on Mr. Depp's finger?
I believe it was around March 20th of 2015.
And what was involved in that surgery, just briefly?
Debriding the vitalized tissue, putting a hypothermic skin graft, store some of the soft tissue loss that he had, and then also putting a pin in because he had a displaced.
You ever see the
distal
Fifth Element? We
ligament
had a Fifth
fracture.
Element that shit back together.
What was the state of Mr. Depp's hand immediately after that surgery?
It was post-surgical.
I'm sorry, I think the audio cut out a little bit. Could you please repeat your answer?
He didn't hear the question.
It was injured
Oh.
and had soft tissue loss and a fracture of his distal phalanx.
And what type of cast was on Mr. Depp's hand after
is
you
this
performed that
live?
surgery?
Strong showing for WebEx here.
It was a plaster splint.
And can you please describe to the jury what a plaster splint would look like?
So it's like a cast, but you don't want to put everything circumferential on it because of swelling after surgery. So I believe in Mr. Depp's case, it was like 2 fingers. I think the 3rd finger was the one that was operated on. So these 2 fingers, the 3rd and 4th finger are together. And it's a splint with plaster on the top and on the bottom that goes.
Could you imagine
around
having
the
to go
hand,
through surgery
to protect
because of an injury that the person you love
How
gave you?
mobile was Mr. Depp's hand when it was in that cast?
Well, he couldn't move his 3rd and 4th fingers because of the bulkiness of the splint. Typically, post-operatively, it's a more bulkier splint right after the surgery. So it's not very, it gets in the way.
Could Mr. Depp grab someone with that cast on his hand?
He could attempt to grab someone. I don't know how successful he would be. He had his index finger free and his thumb free, but the other fingers were probably not being able to move.
How long was the pin in Mr. Depp's finger?
So, I didn't realize his index and finger.
About
He's a guitar
11
player.
or 12
That's where you hold
fingers.
your pick. This is a really big deal all of
And
a sudden.
how was the pin removed?
It was removed under local anesthesia in my office.
How long did you ultimately treat Mr. Depp for his hand injury?
for several months.
And why was that?
It was a bad injury.
Oh my
And
God,
they
someone's
carried
dying in the
more
courtroom.
Little office procedures to clean up the tissue. He had an infection as a result of the injury, so he had to be on antibiotics for some time until it finally completely healed.
Do you recall when the infection developed?
It was a few weeks after the surgery, and that's when I took out the pin.
When was the last time that you saw Mr. Depp?
Sometime in 2015. I don't recall when.
And when was the last time that you spoke to Mr. Depp?
The same,
That's funny, Joey.
around 2015.
Thank you, Dr. Colbert.
All right, cross-examination.
There you go.
Quick.
No need to dwell on anything there.
Good morning, Dr. Culber. So you said that this plaster splint was put on after surgery on March 20th, 2015,
This guy's such
Yes.
a tool.
and a plaster
Yeah,
splint is that sometimes called half a cast?
Half a cast. That sounds funny.
sometimes
Half a
it's
cast.
called half a cast or a soft cast, something like that. Yeah,
And it's made of plaster of Paris, right?
correct.
And plaster of Paris hardens like a cast does, correct?
Yes.
So other than the fact that it's a little smaller than a cast that goes around your whole hand, it's just as hard as a cast that would be put on a broken arm or a broken hand, correct?
Well, it's softer on the side so the fingers can expand for swelling. So it's not fully, the plaster appears circumferential around everything. So there are areas that are softer to allow for swelling.
But the parts that are covered with plaster of Paris are just as hard as any other cast, correct?
Correct.
And regardless of whether Mr. Depp could have grabbed someone with the hand with the cast on, he could have grabbed someone with the hand without the cast on, correct?
No, that wouldn't work.
Correct.
Michelle, can you pull up Exhibit 400, please? This has been admitted, Your Honor.
All right.
So this is not his treating doctor from Australia. This is his U.S. plastic surgery doctor, which is a shame. I wish the Australian doctor would have been called.
Permission to publish.
Yes, yes, sir.
Kate only says that because
Downside is
Australia's
this
a
guy
fake
can't
country.
testify to what caused the injury.
Dr. Culber, I'm just going to ask Michelle here to just scroll through these pictures, and I'd ask you to take a look at them.
Your Honor, I'm going to object for lack of foundation for these photographs.
They're already in evidence.
With respect to the questions to the witness.
They're in evidence. Thank you.
Go back up to that. Stop right there. Is there anything about the cast that was put on Mr. Depp's hand on March 20th, 2015 that would have prevented him from doing this damage to Miss Heard's closet on March 23rd, 2015?
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled.
I mean, he had his other hand available.
Is that his hand?
No
These
further
questions-
questions. Thank you.
Okay, I was going
Redirect.
to say, if you try to do anything with this, you're wasting time.
Yeah.
Dr. Colbert, how many fingers were in the plaster portion of Mr. Depp's cast?
I believe 2 or 3, at least 2 were, and the third one and the fourth one.
And
Well, it sounds like
why
4.
did you call it a soft cast?
Because it's not fully, plaster doesn't go around the entire hand because you allow for swelling. So there's plaster to protect the fracture. So there's a little plaster on it, but it's on the top and the bottom, but it's not completely circumferential.
Dr. Colbert,
there's
if you had to
soft
slap
spots
a
to it.
hoe, could you?
And where are those soft spots located again?
Usually we put a piece of plaster underneath the fingers and on top, and then the sides of the fingers, it's soft so that the fingers can swell after the surgery.
Could Mr. Depp have hit someone with the hand that had the cast on it?
he could have hit someone with it, it probably would have
Broken the cast.
injured, damaged the cast.
Did you ever notice any damage to Mr. Depp's cast when you treated him after the surgery?
Good question. Thank you for finally asking it.
I don't recall.
Mm.
No, nothing that comes to mind.
Could Mr. Depp form a fist with the cast on?
No.
This is the stairway
No further
incident.
questions.
He was
Thank you,
alleged
Dr.
to have
Colbert.
held her
All right,
and
thank you,
punched her
sir. That
repeatedly.
concludes your testimony. Thank you.
By Whitney Heard.
What time is it in California? You're already saying
Your
flaccid.
next witness. Plaintiff calls Richard Marks, Your Honor.
Oh, everybody's getting a turn today.
Marks?
Richard Marks, the singer?
She may have been the one to question Richard
So
Marks
just a reminder that
before.
you're
Were you here for Richard Marks'
skips a
testimony the
second
first
on the
time?
TV. No, sir, you've
No.
already just a reminder that you're still
This
under
guy's
oath. Okay, sir.
great. He's a entertainment lawyer in LA, and he's like, so I negotiated this deal. You may have heard of it. It's called Star Wars. The guy, like everything he's done, he's like, yeah, I helped Jesus write the Bible one time. You know, like he's done everything. He's been around forever. He knows everybody.
I miss him.
And he's worked on like every project. He's like the guy who decided that Indiana Jones should wear a hat and it should fall off and he should have to grab it all the time.
The Magic Man.
Yeah. He's a deal maker. Like this is the powerhouse you want on your team in Hollywood if you're trying to get something made into something.
Morning, sir.
It's got to cost a
Yes,
fortune.
ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor. Welcome back, Mr. Marks. You've testified in this case previously, but would you just briefly remind the jury who you are?
I'm Richard Marks.
I'm the guy.
I'm the,
Cool voice.
Full-time entertainment transactional attorney. I make deals every day.
I
for
make deals.
productions and for individuals. I'm in the trenches negotiating and then making sure the contracts reflect the deals. And I'm very much distinguished from the other side's expert who is not an attorney, who's not in the trenches making deals, is not in that day-to-day
This guy is
process.
Trump.
It comes out
And
swinging.
are you
From the other side's Bimbo.
Catherine Arnold in this matter?
Yes,
Have you been asked to analyze that testimony and provide opinions in response?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And generally, what are those opinions?
It's hot garbage.
well, my opinions are that she's very slick and smooth,
Oh my
but
gosh.
she's not an expert in deal making.
I want to be, and
Her
that's going to be my
assessment of
title.
damages
The expert.
is built.
I'm an
on
expert in deals.
nothing, and it's wildly speculative.
What do you do? I make deals.
I concur,
Are you
sir.
familiar with Ms. Arnold's opinion that it's customary for an actor to renegotiate the fee for a subsequent picture option in a multi-picture contract when a film is successful?
Yes, I've heard that opinion.
And are you also familiar with her testimony that under those circumstances, an actor will renegotiate a 50 to 100% increase in their salary for the next optional film?
Yes, I heard her say that.
Do you agree with those opinions?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Ah!
Well, what we're dealing with in this case is a test option agreement. And that's an agreement, it's a multi-picture agreement, and it's the nightmare for people like me. The test is going to take place, let's say, for 10 actors the next morning at 9, and you have to fully negotiate a contract that might cover 4 movies and have it signed before they're allowed to test, so that if they're chosen for the part, we have the full contract. There's no renegotiation. So you've got a contract for a multi-picture deal. It's usually a franchise, and you negotiate the first movie. And normally, if they get the part, they're the chosen one. They're the Stars Born moment, if you will. They get the part. Normally, their salary is inflated from their normal salary because now they're going to play a character that could go on for 4 movies. In this case, Ms. Heard's first salary when she got the part was $450,000. If Warner Brothers and DC Comics decided to make a next movie, they could recast her. They had no obligation. All they had was an option. But if they did cast her up front, that they had agreed to more than double her salary, like 2.25 times to get to the $1 million. These are large bumps, if you will. If an actor is on a series, say, they go and they have 5 options. They go up in increments of 5%, 10%, 20%, not these multiples that you see in a test option agreement. And that's one of the reasons that they aren't renegotiated normally. They are in some instances, but not normally.
What's the significance of the test part in a test option agreement?
I want to just like hang out with this guy.
The test significance is that an established actor usually wouldn't test. They'd be offered the role. Ms. Heard was in a group of actors.
Okay, who is Amber trying to mimic today?
To see
look
if
at that
the
hair.
studio wanted to hire them. And then if they hired them, they would be locked up for potentially 4 movies at very lucrative increases.
She's signing autographs.
Because after Aquaman 1, she gets to $1 million.
She's going to be selling autographs for $5 at Comic-Con.
And Aquaman 3, excuse me, you get to $4 million. These are unheard of bumps if you're going on a normal career and trying to increase your salary by increments.
In your experience, what is customary for negotiations of multi-picture deals?
Well, I think what happened in this case was customary for negotiation of multi-picture deals. And by that, I mean that
This guy reminds me of Jack Nicholson.
The reason you go from the first Justice League movie where Miss Heard played Mura the first time.
I'd pay her $5, but she'd have to sign it to the
more
expert.
than double her salary is you assume success. So you've already built in the bonus that Miss Arnold was referring to, a renegotiation, if you will, for the 3rd movie. Instead of doubling her salary, Miss Arnold said it would only be fair to quadruple her salary. And that's just not the way these idiosyncratic contracts work. They're a very small portion of the contracts we deal with.
Are you familiar with Ms. Arnold's opinion that Ms. Heard's salary for Aquaman 2 could have been renegotiated to around $4 million?
I am.
Do you agree with that opinion?
No.
Why not?
Well, as I've said,
Watch
that would
Aquaman
now
1.
be after a healthy first payday. It's more than doubled, and now it would be quadrupled. That's not the way it happens.
See, that's what I love.
Walter Hamada, who is the president of that part of the studio, said it doesn't happen. They're not going to do it. Miss Arnold, for some substance, says, well, Jason Momoa got to do it, but she doesn't give us any of the details. We know that Jason Momoa was in a movie before the Justice League. He played Aquaman in a movie not with Miss Mura in that movie. So he had a history before the first movie with Amber Heard. He played Aquaman. We don't know what his contract, the state of it was when you got to Aquaman 2, and she says, unsupported, that he renegotiated. We're not sure what he renegotiated to. But I can say that at the end of the option period, when you've only got one option left, and you want that star in more movies, you may renegotiate, but it's not
this guy's so
gratuity. It's, we'll give you more for the last option if you'll give us 3 more options. It's a give and take. And unfortunately, Miss Arnold didn't give us any of that background or those building blocks. And then I think yesterday she said, and the other actors renegotiated. And again, we don't know their salary history. We don't know their contracts. We don't know anything except
You don't even know if she
she's
knows
asking you
who
just
those
to
actors
believe
are.
her.
Yeah, she's making
as
it up.
What I refer to as a professional expert.
Are you aware that Ms. Arnold's opined that but for the alleged defamatory statements by Mr. Waldman, Ms. Heard would have earned $45 million in the last 18 months and then the next 3 to 5 years?
Yes, I am.
I'd like to address
And
some
that's bullshit.
components of that one by one with you, Mr. Marks. Are you familiar with her testimony that Ms. Heard would continue to make films for approximately $4 million each following Aquaman 2?
Yes.
Do you agree with that testimony?
No.
Why not?
Well, again,
Not substantiated anything.
in Aquaman 2, Amber Heard has already had this huge increase. She worked on Aquaman 2 for $2 million. What Ms. Arnold is saying is, oh, she should have worked on it for $4 million, which I disagree with. And I think there is reasons to negotiate. They weren't here in this case. So the $4 million I have a disagreement with. But even if it was at $4 million or if it was at $2 million, the 4 or 5 movies that Ms. Heard might get might be independent movies. They might be standalone studio movies. They might be passion projects. Every actor has a quiver full of quotes. And
a quiver
their
full
highest
of
quote is
quotes
for the superhero fantasy journey. Their lowest quote might be for the independent passion project, where they'll defer their salary and almost take nothing to work, just SAG minimum. To assume that she'd get 4 or 5 more movies at this, her last fantasy quote, would be to assume that those are also those type of movies, playing another character. And Ms. Arnold says that Ms. Heard's breakout moment, her Star is Born moment, is Christmas 2018. If that's true, and I don't think it's true, those moments don't normally happen to supporting cast. But if it's true, as a deal maker, you would expect, if you represented producers, production companies, to flock in, to take advantage of this hot star and to sign them up.
Brie Larson is a bigger draw than Amber Heard.
2018 to
Think about that for a second.
Where there is none of this activity.
Holy
the Star is Born phenomena didn't happen. Miss Heard starred in one series of 8 episodes, and she earned a healthy fee, $200,000 an episode. But that's 5 times less than the $1 million Miss Arnold is tossing out, supposedly based on Jason Momoa's quote. She doesn't prove it or give us facts. And Jason Momoa is not a comparable actor. He's been in a series where they shot 78 episodes, 44 episodes, 21 episodes. He played Conan the Barbarian. He was in Game of Thrones.
Unresponsive to.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
And Your Honor, this is damaging to our case.
Issues in a moment.
Bronca.
You testified a few minutes ago that your understanding is that the last option in a multi-picture deal might be renegotiated under some circumstances. Do you have an understanding of whether Aquaman 2 was the last option in Ms. Heard's contract with Warner Brothers?
Oh, no. Aquaman 2 has not even been released, and Warner Brothers has a 4th option for Aquaman 3 or another movie where Mura appears, that character, and they've agreed to double the salary again. So it's in success, and that assumes that they recast and that they make the movie.
Are you aware of Ms. Arnold's testimony that Ms. Heard would have made several $1 million on endorsement deals, such as the one she had with L'Oreal?
I'm aware of that testimony.
Do you agree with that opinion?
No.
No.
Why not?
Nope.
Again,
Her
this is a
brand
business
was
of
not hot.
personalities.
Ooh.
We didn't, after the breakout moment that Miss Arnold talked about, Christmas 2018, we didn't see endorsement deals flocking to Ms. Heard during that 16-month period before Adam Waldman made a few statements in the London Daily Mail, I believe it was. We didn't see those endorsements coming to her. We didn't, what Ms. Arnold—
She was already roadkill.
These non-comparable actors, they had endorsement deals. But she doesn't show you, when she describes the breakout moment and why she's comparing Amber Heard to these, what I call uncomparable actors, but she's making the comparison. She's saying, well, they had all these deals, why wouldn't she? But for
Because she's an
the
insufferable
statements that
bitch.
happened 16 months later, and I guess my primary question is what happened in the 16 months, even if you believe 3 statements in the Daily Mail are the stake through the heart of this Stars Born moment.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have an opinion about Ms. Arnold's testimony that Ms. Heard would have made $1 million an episode in a couple of streaming series following her A Star is Born moment?
Yes, I heard it.
Yeah,
I have an opinion.
I got an opinion
What's
on
your
that.
opinion?
Well, after Aquaman 1, this is a major coup. Amber Heard got that role. She tested for it. She could have been the other 19 actresses or 10 or whoever else tested, didn't get it. She got the role, and she got her salary doubled for Aquaman 1 to $1 million. Now, Ms. Arnold wants you to believe that that $1 million would translate into, she'd get that for each episode of the series. We know what she got for a series. She got a series in that period after Christmas 2018, before spring of 2020.
This guy
Got
is
a
so
series.
cool to listen
It was
to.
8 episodes, and it was $200,000 an episode. And Miss Arnold is from somewhere in a glib way saying she got a couple series and $1 million each. And I can tell you, as someone in the trenches, rarely does an actor get $1 million for a series episode.
It's like the cast of Friends.
And again, in
At the
those
end.
16 months, there were no offers for series at $1 million an episode. In fact, her only series is the 200,000. And if you look at her resume, the series that Miss Heard were in, I think the longest one ran 8 episodes. Jason Momoa, if you were to believe Miss
He's
Arnold,
incomparable.
and somehow Jason Momoa's agent broke their confidentiality and agreement, and he had a series at $1 million an episode.
So you can't even believe what
If you
she's
were to
saying.
believe that, Jason Momoa has had a series with 78 episodes, with 44 episodes, with 21 episodes, with 18 episodes, with 21 episodes. He was in, again, there's not a comparableness there.
You spoke a few minutes ago about the test option.
Oh my
agreement.
gosh, he just
What's the
exposed
significance of
me
the option
poo.
part of that agreement?
We got an option to dump her.
The option part of the agreement
Did you hear that?
gives the employer, the studio, the option. They don't have to do anything. They have an option to either employ you at a very healthy salary to play this role or not. They can recast the superhero role. You just have to think of how many actors have played Batman or Superman. They can do what they want. And indeed, since there's no contract, they only have a choice to exercise their option or not. They might say, we're not exercising unless you reduce your compensation. Who knows what the negotiation would be but it's not a contract until the studio exercises the option, and they don't have to.
Oh gosh, that's brutal.
What's the alternative to an option agreement?
It's amazing
the
how the
alternative
truth
is
and being
most
confident
agreements
in
in
what you
Hollywood,
know is
you're
considered
hired
brutal.
to play the role. Or once you exercise the option, then it becomes, for that picture, an agreement like others in Hollywood. You are now hired to play that role. So most contracts are guaranteed. You're hired to play the role. In an option agreement, once they exercise the option for that movie, it becomes a guaranteed contract.
Are you aware that Ms. Arnold testified that Ms. Heard was released from her Aquaman 2 contract and then subsequently rehired?
I heard that testimony.
Is that consistent with your experience in the film industry in connection with these multi-option contracts?
No.
Why not?
Again, studios don't do things they don't have to do. As we heard Mr. Hamada, the president of the studio, say, you either exercise your option or you don't. They exercise their option. He denied releasing and then rehiring. And in my experience, in almost 5 decades in the business, doing this type of work, not talking about it, not consulting.
Ha! Holy hell!
I heard Miss Arnold say she'd been an expert 100 times. I'm a transactional lawyer. I do this occasionally. Basically, it's not a contract till they option it, and they pick up their option, and at that point, it's guaranteed contract, and then different
legal mindset during the chat.
In your experience in the industry, do studios typically comment on those types of actions that they're taking with respect to
This is a statement that I haven't seen other people address,
like
and
Mr.
you're
Hamada
so
said,
dead on
they don't
here,
need to
Paul
comment on
Storm.
it. They
It's
either exercise the
very,
option or
very
they
telling.
don't. In Hollywood, silence is the default. You play no card before it's time. And the cards there were exercise the option or not.
Silence is always the default.
I was surprised by Mr. Hamada under oath, basically saying that there was this discussion of chemistry. That
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I mean,
I think it was.
he's
Okay. Whatever.
It was under oath.
in court statement, and he's an expert.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. That hurt expert's going to wake up in the morning with a penis sharpied on her forehead.
Hearsay is an out of court statement. Any statement made in court cannot be hearsay.
Overruled. You can continue, Mr. Ferguson.
I was surprised to hear Mr. Hamada say that they talked about chemistry. That would normally be behind closed doors because it can't help your relationship with the actor. You're either going to exercise or not. And that was quite a bit of candor from someone at his level. And so, therefore,
He's not getting Aquaman 3.
His value. I think he felt that he was under oath and he was telling the truth, but it wouldn't
Objection,
be.
Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection.
Do you see that? He raised his arm. He's getting ready to put it up like, you object to what?
To say something about not using an actor again in a franchise?
Yes.
What are those circumstances?
Once they've exercised the option, once the contract is guaranteed, the studio still has the right to pay the actor, but not play them, pay or play them. And that is a rare condition because you've hired the actor, you've got to pay them, but you say, go home, we're recasting. In that situation, after you've exercised the option and the contract is guaranteed, if you pay off the actor, that's normally commented on. That becomes a bit of information because it's not normal.
Is that circumstance different from Ms. Heard's contract with Warner Brothers for the Aquaman movies?
Oh, yeah. Ms. Heard's contract, again, it was just an option. Either we exercise it or we don't. And if we exercise it, she's in the film. If we don't, she's not. Until we exercise it, we have our right to recast or not make the movie. And even after we exercise it, we'd still have a right to recast and not make the movie. We just have to pay her salary.
Do you understand that Ms. Arnold compares Ms. Heard's career trajectory with that of other actors, including
Laugh out loud.
Oh,
Momoa,
dude.
Gal Gadot, Zendaya,
Oh my God.
Armis,
This guy should just guffaw here on the
I
witness
heard
stand.
that.
and what's your opinion
You heard
of
it.
those actors as comparables for Ms. Heard?
Even Ms. Heard's agent, Jessica Kay, said that 4 of those actors weren't
Objection, Your Honor,
comparable.
hearsay.
And I believe same response, Your Honor, that it was in testimony that was played in court earlier this week.
I mean, that's not what she testified to. I mean, he's characterizing testimony that was from days ago, and I don't even think she testified to that, Your Honor.
You don't
Days
think
ago doesn't matter.
Days ago,
bro.
So what?
Overruled. You may continue, Mr. Rose.
Again,
Yeah, go eat it.
they are not.
Ah! Legal mindset.
Jason
Go
Momoa
easy.
was
he
Aquaman.
didn't testify to that.
Chris Pine was Captain Kirk.
Boom.
Gal Gadot was Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
He knows the
Zendaya
actors.
working on Disney Channel since she was 13. She's in all the Spider-Man movies. She goes by one name. Anna Dawson.
I would have liked to have seen more of these hits in Cross by Dennison.
movie,
Of course, they would have had to be in question form, but
her breakout, it was as a nude poster. She's been an ensemble piece, Knives Out. These are not comparables.
Ooh.
Now, Miss Arnold stuck to Jason Momoa, who's the most non-comparable because of his history and his career. But she didn't give us the advantage of telling us what his contracts were, what he renegotiated to, what he earned. She didn't give us any of those building blocks. She just she set him up as a comparable and then said what Ms. Heard should earn, but she never gave us the salary of Jason Momoa or the other comparables. And she built like this house of cards on nothing.
good.
Showed
Well
us with her words the beautiful clothing that the emperor was wearing, but we could see if you
Awesome.
know the business
Objection, Your Honor.
that he wasn't.
Beyond the scope of the question.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question. Okay.
You were just speaking about Mr. Momoa as a comparable. Are you aware
This guy
that
is worth
Ms.
every
Arnold
dollar.
compares?
He reminds me of this partner I'll tell you about later.
Mr. Momoa as an actor with equivalent franchise experience who was able to renegotiate his salary for significant increases in bonus.
Yes.
What's your response to that opinion?
Again, he didn't have comparable franchise experience to Miss Heard. He was Conan the Barbarian. He played Aquaman in a movie that Amber Heard was not in. He played Aquaman, not a supporting character like Mura. It's just not comparable.
I've never even
and
heard of Mura
you can say
until the
words,
Aquaman movie.
But I saw nothing from Miss Arnold to back it up, something to build on, which if she was a negotiator in the trench, the studio negotiator would say, okay, so show us, where's the comps? Let's talk numbers, because ultimately that's where we have to get to, not just because you say it so. We just don't believe you. You've got to show us.
Oh my gosh.
In your experience in the industry, what factors influence the negotiation of the terms of a film agreement with an actor?
Well, I mean, first, it depends on the film. If the film is $1 million movie and everybody's deferring their salaries, that's one thing. If it's a superhero movie, that's another. But for deal makers and negotiators, the best predictor of what the deal should be is past earnings, precedent, comps. You also look at the budget of the movie, what it can bear, because if Jason Momoa's comp is $10 million, but the budget's $10 million, obviously he has another price for that movie. But the best predictor of future earnings is past earnings. And I didn't see any, Ms. Arnold talk about past earnings at all, except the earnings in this rarefied superhero 4-picture deal, where instead of incremental increases, which you normally see, it was multiples increases. And then when you get on a series, the big renegotiation was when the network has no more options. Until then, the actors on the series get 5, 10, 15 small percentage raises. They don't get multiples. They get the multiples if it's a success and the studio wants to continue making the series and they want to keep these characters. That's when the renegotiation happens. Here, even if we believe Ms. Arnold, after Aquaman 2, there was still an option waiting at a big price, double the previous payday.
What's the significance of the timing of the Waldman statements to the opportunities Ms. Arnold claims Ms. Heard lost?
Well, the argument, as I understand it, is that Ms. Arnold says that Ms. Heard lost all these opportunities because of those losses were caused by Adam Waldman's statements 16 months later. So I think the timing.
Sure.
Your Honor, we're getting. Can we get some lube here?
He is chewing up their completely crappy witness in Catherine Arnold. This is glorious.
I mean, this is cruel and unusual punishment prohibited by the U.S. Constitution, Your Honor.
I'll just say.
Oh, go ahead.
Nick.
No, you.
I was going to say he reminds me of a partner. So I used to represent Universal. He reminds me dead on, like in terms of look, demeanor, knowledge, experience of the lead partner that was on all the Universal deals and just knows everything. Has been in the trenches. He's done the 24-hour negotiations. And like this is spot on for somebody.
He shared a hooker with Charlie Chaplin.
Seriously, seriously, they've got those jokes, right?
This guy has no problem going and swinging, and you can tell because he does this every day. And so he comes out
Mr.
here.
Marks, what's your overall
I saw her
assessment of
testimony.
Ms. Arnold's opinion?
Swinging more than fists.
Yep.
My overall assessment of her opinions is that they're not worth the paper they're not written on. She knows something,
nice,
but not about negotiating deals. She may have gotten someone at the Endeavor office to
almost at the Borg
confidentiality, but she never laid out the building blocks.
Excuse me, Mr. Objection, you have to stop talking, Mr. Marks. Thank you.
What?
Beyond the scope.
Yeah, Mr. Marks, can you just limit your testimony to your opinion about
Okay.
Ms. Arnold's opinions, please?
My opinion, as someone who's made deals as a deal maker for almost 50 years, is that she calls herself an expert, but she's not.
I'm the
She
expert.
doesn't have the background. She doesn't have the day-to-day knowledge. And her testimony that I heard did not back up her bottom line. If you want to get those figures, you have to show why they're deserved. And again, she was constructing a Jenga without the bottom pieces. It does not hold up under scrutiny
Guys, I'll be right
by
back.
someone who makes
This case does not hold water.
No further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
No, that's it. That's all. You destroy them right there and you leave it.
Well, she
God,
did.
that's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good.
I mean,
Man, this guy better not find himself alone in an elevator with Amber Heard.
Good morning.
good morning. How are you doing?
So you agree that studios use comps to negotiate deals, correct? With actors.
Sometimes they do.
And
His answers are so much better.
you have an issue with the comps that Ms. Arnold used, correct? As you testified to.
I have an issue with the comps that she says she used that she didn't disclose.
The comps being the actors that you just talked about. She did disclose, she disclosed the actors.
She disclosed the actors and budget figures from their movies. She never disclosed their salaries and salary history as comps.
You're not offering a different set of comparators that should be used, correct?
I'm saying if you are going to.
That's not my question. Are you offering a different set
He's
of
answering.
than what Ms.
You asked him what he was saying.
I'm not here offering comparators. I'm saying what she offered are not comparators.
That was my question. You're not offering comparators, correct?
No, I would say that Ms.
That was
Heard's
my
comparisons
sir,
are where you
respectfully, that
look.
was my question. Motion to strike after.
All right, we'll strike after that. Just answer the questions, Mr. Marks. Thank you.
Now, you're a deal maker,
His grin
correct?
every time.
He's so
kills me.
awkward. You look at him
What
scratching.
actors have you negotiated for in superhero movies?
Well, he's worried about that rectal bleeding.
Well, recently I've negotiated for Chris Pratt in a superhero series for Amazon. I've negotiated a deal for Michael Douglas, not in a superhero movie, but a historical movie. I've negotiated recently a deal for Paul Rudd.
This is a bad question.
And Will Ferrell on an Apple series. Billy Crudup on
I did a deal with Jesus on a resurrection.
Recent talent deals.
What actors have you negotiated for in a superhero movie?
Said Chris Pratt.
As I sit here now, I can't remember a superhero movie that I've negotiated. I've certainly negotiated over my career franchise movies and fantasy movies.
Your Honor, so it's no, you haven't negotiated with any actors for superhero movies, correct?
So you would define
define it.
I don't know.
Make him define it.
Isn't a superhero movie. It's more of a fantasy.
Okay, so no, correct. Your answer
Okay,
is no.
all right. So as I sit here, I can't think of a Marvel type superhero movie that I've negotiated. Although I know there's one or two in there.
Now, you testified and you agree that Mr. Momoa negotiated his multi-picture contract for Aquaman 2, correct?
I heard Mr. Hamada say there was a renegotiation, but no facts were pro-offered, such as he didn't have an option. His options were out. What he was earning and what he renegotiated to, and he is Aquaman man. So yes, I did hear there was a renegotiation.
And you understand that his salary went from $3 to $4 million to $15 million.
If
I don't
you
think that was
tell
in
me that,
evidence.
I haven't seen his contract and I haven't heard any testimony under oath that that's where the leap was.
Now, Ms. Heard's contract.
Did he get more? Did they get more options for when they made that leap? Did they get more options?
Ms. Heard's contract was a talent contract, correct?
Yes.
And you agree that for if there's an Aquaman 3, Ms. Heard would have an option to receive $4 million, correct?
The studio would have an option.
Well, actually, you would language it. Warner Brothers would have the option to engage her.
He got it. That's a difference.
$4 million, correct?
Yeah. She doesn't have the option to refuse.
Yes.
They have the option to engage her.
And she would receive $4 million, correct?
Yes, $4 million.
Would you agree that the money Amber was
If they
making on Aquaman
choose.
2
If,
or
yes,
3
if.
would be her market rate for future studio movies?
I would think it would be her rate for future studio superhero movies, but not necessarily studio movies that aren't superheroes. That could be standalone. That could be other type of studio movies.
But for studio superhero movies, it would be $4 million, correct?
If I was Ms. Heard's agent, that's where I would start. Assuming everything was equal, the budget of the superhero movie, that she was in the ensemble. There's a lot of ifs to look at, but all things being equal.
You agree that Aquaman was a breakthrough role for Ms. Heard, wasn't it?
It's the first movie of that ilk that she makes. but she is not Aquaman. She is Mura.
But it was a breakthrough movie for Ms. Heard, correct?
For her, it's a breakthrough movie to be in that film and in the ensemble. Absolutely.
And she was the female star of that movie, correct?
I believe so.
You would agree that for all of the
Keep saying
actors, Ms. Arnold, listed
ensemble,
as
you know she hates
comparables,
it.
their career trajectory went up after their breakthrough, correct?
She didn't give us the raw materials to look at, but I'll take your word that all those unrelated actors in unrelated films, except for Jason Momoa, they went up. As did Miss Arnold's when she went from 1 to 2.
In your experience, can you identify an actor or an actress who's not been able to get a new studio movie after a breakthrough performance in a superhero movie?
As I sit here now, I haven't been asked to opine on that, but there are lots of supporting characters.
Very conditional question.
That
Colby Smulders.
don't appear in the next movie.
But a female star in a breakthrough movie in a superhero movie, can you identify any actress who's not gotten another studio movie after that?
Well, after Miss Heard's breakthrough in 2018, she
Miss
did
Heard.
get Aquaman 2.
Aquaman 2 was already, she already had the option for Aquaman 2,
All right,
correct?
so she did, Miss Heard did not get any movies after 2018, long before the Adam Waldman statement.
Yeah, the example is your client.
By any actor or actress who's not gotten another studio movie after their breakthrough in a superhero movie.
Yes, Amber Heard.
As I sit here now, I haven't been asked to research that, and I can't. That would be a normal thing.
And you're not providing an alternative number for Ms. Heard's damages, correct? For the jury.
Correct. I'm not providing an alternate number. I think, she's been more than adequately paid.
More than
Her number. That's all. I mean, my question was, you're not providing another number.
I think it's
Asked and answered.
and the full answer of the question, Your Honor.
It was a yes or no question. He said his answer was no.
I'm not going to strike it.
Okay.
Oh, God. Your Honor, it was non-responsive to my question. It's the way you do that. Oh, and they're done on that?
That's all you got, buddy? Oh,
come on, man.
Mr. Marks, in response to some questions from Mr. Lederhaft, you were discussing some franchise and fantasy movie agreements that you've negotiated with actors. Could you just describe some of those for us?
Yeah, let him opine on any of them.
I've had such a long career that I mainly forget what I've done, but I negotiated all the contracts for Pinocchio, if you will, that was produced.
Pinocchio.
The original.
Is Coming to America, the original, is that a fantasy movie? The Golden Child, is that a fantasy movie?
Maltese Falcon.
By the way, I may have
examples after
negotiated
1986.
contracts,
North by
ultimately
Northwest.
The film wasn't made, but as I sit here now, those are the only ones that come to pass. If I was
The
looking
Great Train
for
Robbery.
my resume or going through my files, I might think of others, but there isn't a deal that I haven't made.
And I think you also testified in response to Mr. Nadelhaft's questions that you have negotiated some deals for Chris Pratt and Paul Rudd. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes, these are for a streaming series.
Do you happen to know if both of those actors have played Marvel superheroes?
I believe they have, but don't quote me because that's not my genre.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Marks. You can, you're free to stay in the courtroom or you can leave, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, your next witness.
Unflappable. They were not going to get
He
it.
calls Michael Spindler.
Michael Spindler.
Michael Spindler.
You testified previously, correct, Mr. Spindler? All right. Just a reminder that you're still under oath, okay, sir? Yes. All right, thank you.
Isn't a deal I haven't done. Oh, this is the forensic accountant guy. Hopefully he's got something better than a bar napkin.
Good morning, Mr. Spindler. Good morning. Can you remind the jury who you are and what you do?
Yes, I'm Michael Spindler. I'm a forensic accountant.
I'm a CPA, a certified fraud examiner, amongst some other certifications. I'm with B. Riley Advisory Services, a national firm that does forensic accounting, bankruptcy and restructuring work, and business valuations and appraisals. I've got over 40 years of experience.
Are you familiar with the testimony rendered by Ms. Arnold in this matter?
Yes, I am.
Do you understand that Ms. Arnold testified that Ms. Hurd
She's
has
so
suffered
dead.
economic damages resulting from 3 statements made by Mr. Wall?
Yes, I do.
Do you have an opinion of that claim?
I do.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, they're already concerned.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
Your Honor, can we get a rape kit brought in?
I mean, when your theory of damages is so speculative that it's based on an if, you need to expect that you're going to get literally spit roasted on rebuttal.
Yeah. Just absolutely. Everything about her damages claim was based on a series of circumstances that has yet to manifest. And I think it was really bad. I wish they would have asked a few more questions about those option contracts and just like re-emphasize to the jury. So wait, if the studio doesn't execute the option, then they're not in the movie and the studio has no obligation to do so. And Amber Heard can't take an option contract and enforce it against the studio in any way, right?
Exactly.
Right.
And what instances have you seen in your long fucking history of studios not exercising options? What is the probability that a studio may never exercise that option, may choose to never exercise that option? Oh, is it pretty high? Oh, okay. And that's regardless of the fact that, you know, there's any drama going on. Okay, great. No further questions.
In 9 months, I think Amber Heard is going to be burying Marx's child.
I would say Rottenborn would be burying the child.
Now, you indicated that you would listen to Ms. Arnold, and she testified on behalf of Ms. Heard relative to economic damages. Have you formed an opinion as to the testimony and opinion rendered by Ms. Arnold?
Yes, I have. It is not adequately supported and it is unreasonable.
Oh.
There were multiple elements to that analysis, both damages related to her film career and to endorsements. Have you analyzed both those issues?
Yes, I have.
What is your opinion of the claims
Who's this guy?
that have been asserted relative to the film career and endorsements?
Okay, well,
It was exposed that she's talentless.
first of all, with respect to her damages calculation, there was no
You should use scare quotes.
She initially looked at these comparable actors and seemed to use that as a basis for numbers. She didn't provide the underlying calculation. She didn't provide underlying support. And then it appeared as though in her testimony, she backed away a little bit from that, but she still suffers from the issues of
Who's going
not
to trust
providing
Amber Heard with
detailed
numbers?
calculations or support for where those numbers come from. And she still, to some extent, appears to be using some kind of comparable analysis.
All right.
We all know where she's
What
pulling
is
them from.
the type of analysis that you think is appropriate here?
Well, I think, and as you heard from the last witness, I think that something that is anchored in facts, taking a look at historical compensation as a basis for anticipating future compensation.
Had you looked at Ms. Heard's prior compensation?
Yes, I have. I've looked at tax returns that were provided for the period of 2013 through 2019.
Why do you want to use historical earnings?
Well, once again, you want an analysis is anchored in fact. I don't believe that Ms. Arnold has done that in her analysis.
Oh.
So here we've got some actual.
Hey guys,
data.
you coming in? Please
We've
don't
got
forget
some
to hit
historical
subscribe,
compensation.
like.
And as the
promise
last witness mentioned,
it'll be the best
that
thing you've ever
often
done on the
provides
internet.
Somewhat of a basis for
Second best
future
thing you've ever done on the
anticipated
internet.
earnings. In addition, I believe that Ms. Arnold herself said that she had hoped to be able to look at a renegotiated salary for Aquaman 2 and then use that as a basis for future compensation, that being the new kind of base, if you will.
Were there any years in particular that you focused on in your analysis as to Ms. Arnold's testimony?
In terms of the historical compensation?
Yes.
Well, for 2013 through 2019 in total, her compensation was around $10 million for all those years combined. In 2019, the last of those years, her compensation was somewhere between about $2.6 million and $3 million. Now, that's a good year. That's known as a clean year.
What do you mean by a clean year?
Well, for example, 2019, you had Aquaman was released in December of 2018, and that was a successful film. So in 2019, you've got the benefit of that kind of success, and you also don't have any potential impact from the alleged defamatory Waldman statements that occurred in April of 2020. So 2019 is clean of all that.
What did you understand Ms. Arnold's methodology to be?
Her methodology initially appeared to be based on these comparable actors that she had identified, and theoretically, the compensation that they earned, although she doesn't identify what that compensation is or provide any support for it or any calculations.
What is your opinion of that methodology from an accounting perspective?
That methodology was unsound. It's just unsupported. There are no numbers. There's no data that she provided and support for that.
What methodology did you understand Ms. Arnold to adopt at trial?
Okay, well, it looked like somewhat of a mix and match approach. She used different approaches, I believe, for different elements of the damages.
Power's out. Behind
Although
electric building.
It's still a little bit unclear to me, a little bit vague. But there are 4 basic components that she was looking at.
Not yet.
And we can go through those
Not yet,
in
Mitchell.
order you wish.
All right. With respect to the television series portion of her analysis, what do you understand that methodology to be?
Okay.
Objection, Your Honor. May we approach?
All right.
They're very scared of any of these experts on damages because they've actually looked at numbers. I mean, the lady yesterday, her
They're
testimony
scared
was, well,
of experts.
you know, I've been around a bit and I've seen some of these deals, and that was honestly it. Not very useful.
So one question for you guys, because
Gossip and speculation.
I missed this part. I heard they arguing on the motion, but is the judge holding out her ruling? Is she with kind of?
No.
Okay.
No, the ruling was rather predictably denied.
Yeah.
I wasn't super impressed with the oral argument. They left out some stuff that I would have liked to see gone into, like no evidence of the agency relationship related to the statements, particularly while Mr. Waldman had been Johnny Depp's counsel at the beginning or before the statements were made, and he had consulted with Johnny Depp after the statements were made. We don't know the nature of the relationship when the statements were made. That's not been offered into evidence. They were not able to get that into evidence. They've offered no expert testimony that says that his statements would be automatically imputed to Johnny Depp or they'd be understood in that way. So those are the things I would like to see them do. But I think ultimately this judge is going to take this thing to the jury since they've had a jury seated for 6 weeks.
Yeah, I agree with that. She would have eliminated it
Hard
already.
to do
if she was going to.
just a never mind at the end. Never mind.
Yeah. And I also, I mentioned this before, but I think that the judge has to be conscious that if she did dismiss the case on a technical argument, it would potentially prejudice the jury, and on anything even remotely close, she was not going to do that, because if she says that Johnny Depp comes in here with clean hands, but Amber Heard doesn't, potentially, that could make a jury decision right there. So yeah,
She's not gonna create an appellate issue. It's just like with the time, I heard the argument that I guess Rob had said that there's a courtesy 3 minutes that he's seen given in other times, in other cases where, because there's this fundamental right to a cross-examination, they get some sort of courtesy time, right? So I'm sure if the judge realizes it's a fundamental issue, they're not going to rule on it to create an appellate issue.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see what if anything the judge will do with the time.
Poker knives made in Germany.
If
made in
they run
China,
out, does she just say, "Look, you got 5 minutes on cross, 10 minutes on cross"? Maybe she does, but it'll be weird to see if those things come into conflict.
Yeah, and those are giving him some time. You can give him, like I said, 3 minutes, I think, and make him do it just like this, right? They can do it. They have the ability to do a quick cross. So
Yep. And they're doing fairly quick stuff today. I wonder what this argument is about.
Yeah,
it's animated.
Innocent's getting animated.
Let's see who came out on top.
I'm feeling Rottenborn's a habitual bottom.
Oh yeah.
Come on. Unmute it.
Unmute it.
It's not me who's muted it, guys. It's the court. Oh, there we go.
From television shows. Did you analyze what historical earning Ms. Heard had during the period that you were concerned with relative to television shows?
Well, yes, during 2019, she entered into a contract in July of 2019 to appear in a television series at $200,000 per episode.
All right. What about endorsement deals? Did you look at what she had made on endorsement deals during that period?
She did have a contract with L'Oreal at $1,625,000.
All right. With respect to her movie roles, what were her historical earnings during that period?
Well, certainly for the most recent years, you had the Warner Brothers deal, which was a 4-picture deal. The first film was $450,000. Then the first Aquaman was $1 million base fee. Then $2 million for Aquaman 2. And presuming that there was an Aquaman 3, that would have been $4 million.
Okay.
Okay.
Why do you look at historical earnings as part of your analysis?
Because you want your analysis to be anchored in facts. You want it to have a sound methodology, and you want to come up with a reasonable result. So if you take a look at, for example, the analysis that Ms. Arnold did, it didn't appear to be...
Let's just look at the analysis that you're doing.
Wait, why can't he comment on her analysis?
What you said, I think, is you wanted them anchored in facts. Why?
Because that provides a sound basis for coming up with something with reasonable certainty. There's AICPA, or American Institute of Certified Public Accountant guidance with respect to reasonable certainty. And those are the basic elements of it.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
So tight.
I guess he was told by the judge not to keep bringing up the crazy lady's projections.
Yeah, but why? He's an expert. He's allowed to.
Hello,
He's allowed to
Mr.
review
Spindler.
them.
Good morning.
You hear that?
I'm going to ask you a few questions that may refer to the statements in Amber's counterclaim against Mr. Depp. When I refer to those statements, I'm going to refer to them as the Depp-Waldman statements. Do you agree that we can both be on the same page what I'm referring to when I say that?
That's fine. You can use your
I
terminology.
think you need to object to this.
RJ.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we approach?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, good. They're going to
Good job.
sidebar again.
Whether or
So
Why
not
not
these
just
statements-
call them the Johnny Depp is libel statements? I mean,
the other
ridiculous.
day, I checked out.
Yeah, the fact
I
that
had
they
my
let
wife
them go
do the
yesterday
deal.
was
We're
actually
looking for a new
embarrassing.
car.
And
you see everybody driving Teslas
They're
now,
the
so I'm
Waldman
like,
statements.
there's got to be a deal or something.
There's no
here, right?
reason to add Depp. If I just
Well-
add Depp to them, would you understand that? I'd know what they mean if they were just
hang on. Yeah. So anyway, she looks it up, right, and do the whole process. And it's like I was like, what was it? To buy a Tesla. This is the 3. Right now, it's $800 a month. So what's a lease cost? Because I'm like, surely there's got to be a deal on this thing. I mean, there's something going on here. Well, a Tesla lease is $6 something a month. Yeah, $600 a month, and you get to drive 10,000 miles a year. You get 3-year lease, 30,000 miles. So figure that up. That's $7,200 a year you're paying to drive 10,000 miles. So when they say, "Oh, electricity is cheaper," well, you're also paying 72 cents per mile, plus the cost of electricity. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And 10,000 miles is nothing. Like, these people that make up these policies, they live in like New York City, Washington, D.C., or L.A., where they're sitting in traffic and not going anywhere. These are idiots. I mean, this whole thing is so stupid. In Tennessee, you got to drive, man. Nothing is next door. I mean, it's just, it's so, sorry. Go back to them.
Correct?
Correct.
And that's because
there can
an
be some
increase in the
variability.
number of roles-
Yes.
An increase in the number of roles may lead to greater income, correct?
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I was speaking. I didn't hear.
One of the reasons that what you earn in one period may not be reflected
You have to have Sully.
of what an actress may
Could
earn
go
in
up
another
or
period,
down.
because an increase in the number of roles may lead to greater income, correct?
The number of roles or the particular project itself. Yes.
Sure, getting better roles may lead to greater income, correct?
Correct.
And the same is true for an endorsement. As an actress's profile grows, the amount of money that she may be able to earn from endorsements grows as well, correct?
It can.
So
It depends.
what Miss Heard earned
What
from
that actress falsely defames her husband.
19 that you testified to isn't necessarily reflective of what she might earn over the next 5 years, correct?
Not necessarily. It is a good indicator, though.
And you'd agree that from 2013 to 2019, in terms of earnings and star power, that Miss Heard's career trajectory was on the upswing, correct?
There was a slight increase during that period of time in her earnings from 2013 through 2019.
And you'd agree that that was as a result of getting more lucrative roles, right?
Yes.
Now, you're not a causation expert.
Oh, look, she's got bruises on her eyes.
That's correct.
So you're not testifying as to whether the
She
Depp Waldman
does.
statements caused her to lose any roles, correct?
That's correct.
And you're not offering any opinion as to whether the Depp Waldman statements kept her from being considered for roles that she otherwise would have been considered for, correct?
That's correct. I'm not testifying on causation issues.
And you can't speak to what opportunities may never have materialized for Amber as a result of the Depp
Imaginary opportunities.
Yeah, I've not done those calculations.
And you don't have an opinion about whether or not Miss Heard could have renegotiated a contract for Aquaman 2, correct?
That was not part of my work.
And you don't have an opinion on the impact that additional exposure or press coverage or magazine
This is a good
covers or
cross by
interviews would have
Rottenborn.
had on Miss Heard's career, correct?
Correct. I'm just looking at Ms. Arnold's calculations.
You've never served as an expert witness before to calculate damages based on lost roles by an actress resulting from defamation against that person, correct?
I've been involved in defamation cases, but I've not done the calculations as an expert witness and testified thereto.
You got to give
And there's
Rottenborn
never
credit.
been an
I think he's the
instance
most competent guy on
in
that
which
bench.
you have served as an expert witness.
That's true.
In a case to calculate damages based on alleged defamation against an actress, correct?
Correct.
And you're not offering any expert opinion on what impact the alleged defamation by Mr. Depp has had on Miss Heard's career, correct?
I'm sorry, one more time?
You're not offering any expert opinion on what impact the Depp-Waldman statements by Mr. Depp has had on Ms. Heard's career, correct?
The Depp Waldman
Other
statements
than
by
taking a
Mr.
look at
Depp.
his Arnold's calculations.
And you're not offering any expert opinion about what impact, if any, social media coverage of this case or of Ms. Heard may have had on Ms. Heard's career, correct?
You're correct. That's other experts.
Can we approach
No
her?
further questions. Thank you.
I'm getting a swollen head to keep talking about the experts like this.
Turn the mic back on.
All right, thank you, Mr. Spindler. You can have a seat
No,
in the
cool
courtroom,
frog.
or
You're
you can
mistaken.
leave.
See,
No,
when
no,
you
they
plug
had
something
some
into the
quick question
wall,
on cross
there
that
are
looks like that it was
magical
needed by the
fairies
court.
back there that when they rub their wings together, they create electricity. So
Gloomy
electricity
Fox
is
literally bottom
completely
of the barrel
free
tactics. What are you smoking?
and
He just cross-examined
clean.
a witness, got him
It's
to admit
fairy
to no
juice,
facts.
maybe.
He won on the argument clearly on the Depp Waldman statements, and they shut down his entire line of testimony. I mean, what do you
Fairies are back
want
there
out
making
of
the
that?
power.
He got him to say you're not testifying about any of the stuff pertinent to Amber Heard's case. Like,
But that's a
without letting
nothing
him
burger.
yeah, I mean, but what do you do with this guy other than that? I mean, if you let him testify, he's going to rip you apart. And he effectively shut down the testimony. Yeah, again, you don't have to like Amber Heard's team to recognize that Rottenborn did an effective cross-examination right
Just a
there
reminder that you're
of a
still under
dangerous
oath. Okay, sir?
witness.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Banya.
Good afternoon.
Can you briefly reintroduce yourself to the jury, please?
Yes, hi, Doug Banya. I am from Nevium Intellectual Property Consultants based in San Diego. I value intellectual property. I provide litigation support in infringement and defamation cases, as I'm doing today. And I use internet and social media analytics in both of those services.
Since you last testified in this case, the jury has heard testimony from Ronald Schnell and Catherine Arnold. Are you familiar with their testimony?
Yes,
Were you asked to analyze their testimony and provide opinions in response?
yes, I was.
Have you formed opinions in response to the testimony of Mr. Schnell and Ms. Arnold?
I have.
Generally, what are those opinions?
Generally, Mr. Schnell provided no evidence of a correlation between the Waldman statements and the hashtags and the spikes of those hashtags on Twitter. Second, based on my internet and social
I've got to
media
get one.
analytics,
I've got to get one,
investigation,
and
I've concluded that the
I'm gonna video it.
alleged
I'll video the whole
comparable
thing.
actors
It won't
that,
come with
Ms.
tomatoes though. I don't
Arnold,
like tomatoes.
Came up with are not comparable with Ms. Heard. And then thirdly, Mr. Schnell and Ms. Arnold both failed to provide any evidence of a causation as it relates to the Waldman statements causing any economic harm to Ms. Heard.
Let's dig into those opinions a little bit. You're familiar with the
It's nice that this guy defaults to the Waldman statements.
2.7 million alleged negative tweets related to Ms. Heard between January 2018 and June 2021.
Yes.
And what's your understanding of how Mr. Schnell identified those particular 2.7 million tweets?
Yeah, so essentially, Mr. Schnell chose hashtags that he felt were negative towards Ms. Heard. Those hashtags range from justice for Johnny Depp, Amber Heard is an abuser, Amber Turd. We just don't like Amber. So then he
Every time
used
they
those
say it.
hashtags and he searched.
Say it as many times as you
using
can.
the Twitter API, searched through various tweets, and then came up with any tweets that were using those hashtags.
Did you conduct an analysis of those tweets?
Yes, I was given that exact the data
Yes.
that Mr. Schnell used on a hard drive. So yes, I dug into that data as well.
And what was the purpose of your analysis?
So what I'm trying to do, and what's at issue of the case today at this point, is were these tweets, did they contain the Waldman statements? That's what where we're at right now, are the Waldman statements. So I wanted to analyze those tweets to determine which ones, and if any, contain the Waldman statements.
And what's your understanding of what the
How many times can you say Waldman statements in one sentence?
So my understanding is there's three Waldman statements that were published.
Always one more.
In the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail is a UK tabloid, and Mr.
That nobody believes.
Arnold was quoted in three of those articles. And those dates were on April 8th, 2020, April 27th, 2020.
Came prepared.
Mitchell, you need that overtime.
2020. And my understanding that those quotes, I'm sorry, I think I said the wrong name, but those quotes are the only.
Wasn't this guy Cameron and Ferris Bueller?
Did you analyze the timing of the tweets that we were talking about as compared to the timing of the Waldman statements?
And that's exactly what I did. So I wanted to look at the Waldman statements, look at the dates that they happened, and then analyze those as compared to the Twitter data that I had.
Have you prepared a demonstrative that reflects that aspect of your analysis?
Yes.
Your Honor, may
How
I approach?
convenient.
Yes. Did you show counsel?
We would show them, Your Honor, but they're dicks.
That's how you ask non-leading questions, Elaine. You might want to take notes here.
Yeah, her questioning here is very good, very on point. It's really snappy, getting right to the details that she wants, not getting wrapped up in any extraneous stuff. And it's, did you do this? Did you do that? Did you analyze this? Did you analyze that? Lay the foundation.
We don't want
for what
that.
he's about to do. He's about to
That means you'll miss Friday
point
night.
out that the statements that are in there, and this is the claim, the statements that were made by Waldman were in the text. That's what the expert claimed, that they were in the text of the tweets, particularly in the text of the hashtags. So he can go through and just show that they're not.
And I talked with a data analyst today on my channel, and one important thing that their data analyst did not say was whether or not the comments were negative or positive, which is material.
And can be published to the jury.
Hey, Legal Mindset said he talked to his data analysis today. I think we know who that
Can you explain to
is.
the jury what this demonstrative shows?
Yes. So this shows the total hashtags and tweets that Mr. Schnell was analyzing. This is the summary data. They're tweets that are running from January 2018 to June of 2021. And again, these are related to four hashtags that I discussed. Whenever I get an assignment such as this, when I'm dealing with a defamatory statement that's allegedly gone viral online, where there's economic damages involved and there's a lot of data involved, I like to take the data and I like to do a 30,000
Yeah, I like to take the data.
of the data to see what I'm looking at, to see if there's anything interesting, odd,
I'm mean to
different
that
about
data.
the
I shake it.
And the first thing that I noticed is 35% of the tweets were prior to the Waldman statements. So again, remember, my assignment is to determine if the Waldman statements are part of the tweets.
No, it's more than
that
35.
Mr. Schnell analyzed.
Yeah,
So
those numbers don't
obviously,
seem right.
If these tweets were prior to the Waldman statements, in no way could they
No,
have
the
anything
old
to
school
do
about
with
keeping
the
clean
Waldman
workspace.
statements. So
It was
that was the first
Do as I say, don't do as I do.
I noticed. Then I noticed what I like to call kind of the alleged defamatory.
You know what? I'm going to do
timeframe.
something while we're
And
listening.
as I
Hang on a second.
discussed, that's when the
I mean, you don't have to hang
Waldman
on.
statements were published. That's the date down here. You know, the first one was in the beginning of April, and the last one, which is the third one, was at the end of June. But what I found interesting is only 2% of all of the tweets happened during this Waldman statement period. So really, these are just observations. And for me, they're red flags that I made note of. And then I just continued with my analysis.
Whether the work could be performed in connection with forming your opinions about the purportedly negative tweets.
Yeah, so now I realize that 35% are irrelevant and 2%, only happened during this important period. I just continue to dig into the 2.79 million tweets that Mr. Schnell provided.
And Tom, can we take that one down? And Mr. Banya, have you prepared another demonstrative that depicts that analysis that you were just describing?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, we'll just see if he has.
Oh, no.
No, I'll give you time to look at it, sir.
No demonstrative evidence from the Heard expert on
Yes.
comparables, right?
Dr. You're an expert. I want
No
to see
numbers.
that.
Objection as a demonstrative.
Okay.
No demonstratives
Plaintiff's
from
Exhibit 1294
any of
will be
her
marked.
experts, I don't think.
You guys can see why you
Well,
chose
except
to
for the
name the
tweets.
expert, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's so funny.
Oh, yeah, there was the one
the
tweet
graph.
analysis with the
Right.
graph.
Mr. Banya,
Four, yeah, there were 4 graphs.
This demonstrative shows.
Yes, this is showing the various spikes as it relates to the hashtags that Mr. Schnell testified about. This is actually an exhibit or a demonstrative that he used in his testimony. What this is showing are the largest spikes related to the hashtag Justice for Johnny Depp. I don't know if you remember his testimony or any of his demonstratives. The other 3 hashtags did spike at the same time, but a very small spike. So what I'm showing you here are the 6 top spikes in Mr. Schnell's analysis. And what's important here again is the very first spike and the largest spike again happened before the Waldman statements. So what I'm trying to figure out is what tweets were related to the Waldman statements. So this number 1 spike, which is the biggest spike, was prior to the Waldman statements. So it's irrelevant to the case. And then the second thing I noticed that was interesting,
Well, I mean, it's still relevant
here are the dates
because the subsequent
in
spikes are
gray
based on
right
those.
here. This is the time in which the Waldman statements happened. And you're going to notice, as we discussed before, only 2% of the tweets happened during that time. But I found it very interesting for such a viral event that has potentially caused such economic harm. There's no spikes in this area. And actually, you're going to see that Mr. Waldman, his statement came out here in the first April 2020 article. Then the second one came out here. And then the third one came out in June. There's actually a downward use of the spike, downward use of the hashtags. So I'm not seeing any correlation as it relates to the Waldman statements and any spikes here as it relates to the hashtags Mr. Schnell chose.
Did you analyze each of the spikes that are depicted here?
Yeah, so what I did is I looked at the 6 different spikes, and you're going to notice that each spike represents a month. So
this is actually really interesting,
spike,
y'all. This is something you need to pay attention to, so you can
so on
spot
to the 6th spike going to April 2021.
This phoning
And what I
is
did
easier.
is, I don't know if you remember my last testimony when I went into Google search, and I'm able to go into Google search. I went in and I typed in Amber Heard. And then after you hit
Our
search,
boy Cool,
you can use the
Cool
tool,
Frog.
and you can go
Grimm's
back
Bar
in
is big
time.
into this.
And I chose each 6 of these dates to go back in time to see what was the media talking about back then. What was the general public being fed as it relates to Amber Heard back during those spikes. And what I found is none of them. Well, actually, I analyzed the top 3 search results because they represent 50 to 70% of what people click on. And I realized that none of them had anything to do with Waldman statements.
Are you aware of Mr. Schnell's testimony that the tweets using the 4 hashtags he looked at were mathematically correlated?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Nothing.
So what Mr. Schnell is saying, which is irrelevant to this case, is the 4 hashtags that he randomly chose they tend to go up and down together. And that's why he had these spikes here. So the correlation there is how those 4 hashtags work or dance together going up and down. But first of all, the hashtags have nothing to do with the Waldman statements. And the fact that there's a correlation with the hashtags is irrelevant to this case because we're dealing with the Waldman statements, which none of that correlation analysis he did had to do with.
How do you know that the correlation doesn't have anything to do with the Waldman statements?
Can I clear
Because
this?
I'm an expert.
No. Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I know because that would happen right here. You know, if when Mr. Waldman, one of his quotes was published, you would see a big spike right here. And then you would see maybe a little noise down here. And then the third time you might see second time a big spike, and the third time a big spike. That's not here. So that's telling me there's no correlation between the Waldman statements and this hashtag use. And then I've actually provided evidence that there's no correlation because I analyzed each of these spikes and none of them had to do with the Waldman statements.
Is mathematical correlation the same as causation?
I love
No.
it.
Why not?
I mean, correlation is simply a relationship between 2 or more variables or 2 or more things. In this case, the correlation question is, when the Waldman statements were published, at the same time, did you see a correlation with spikes in these hashtags? And again, can we clear this? You see none of that right here. It's actually a downward trend. There's no spikes, there's no correlation. So, you know, again, Mr. Schnell provided no evidence of any correlation.
What correlation opinion did he provide during his testimony?
Well, he provided the correlation that the 4 hashtags, you know, spike together. But again, the hashtags have nothing to do with the Waldman statements. And the facts that they're correlating or moving together is irrelevant to the case because the case is about the Waldman statements.
So what is causation then?
So causation is where one thing causes a change in the other. So as it relates to this case, did the Waldman statements cause Ms. Heard to have economic harm? In other words, did the Waldman statements cause Ms. Heard not to make as much money in her career? And again, Mr. Schnell provided no evidence of this. Ms. Arnold provided no evidence of this. And as a matter of fact, during Ms. Arnold's testimony yesterday, she didn't even know what causation was. You know, she was asked, you know, causation and correlation, and she said that she's not a semantics expert. We're not talking about the words.
That's such a bad answer.
You know, when it
Semantics.
comes to damages, you have to prove causation prior to calculating damages.
Idiot.
You know, so there's
Idiot.
no causation that's proven here. Therefore, a damages analysis.
She
is
shouldn't be
not
allowed to
appropriate.
talk in public.
Did you hear Mr. Schnell testify that he
Dang.
agreed with your opinion in this case?
Yes.
And what's your understanding of the opinion that he agreed with?
Well, he agreed that he failed to link the spikes in the hashtags on Twitter to the Waldman statements.
Did he try to do that?
He tried to do that. But
Did
again, his analysis was looking at the word Waldman and looking at the word Waldmanian, and then trying to say that 25% of the tweets included those 2 terms. But first of all, Waldman isn't the issue here. It's the Waldman statements. And Waldmanian, I don't even know what that is, but it's not relevant to this case.
We can, I think, take that one down, please, Tom. Mr. Banya, what other work have you done in connection with forming your opinions about Mr. Schnell's testimony?
Again, the assignment was to determine if the Waldman statements were part of the tweet. So I continued to dig in, to the data. I believe the next step is now that I've excluded, the 35% that was before the Waldman statements because they were irrelevant. I wanted to really analyze from
This guy is perfectly cast as a numbers nerd.
see if any of those tweets, were,
Yeah, it's Cameron
Yep.
from Ferris
Did you
Bueller.
prepare a demonstrative that reflects that analysis that you did?
I
Yes,
sure
I-
did.
You know it.
Do I look like someone who didn't
Jules, I
prepare an
cannot believe you said
analysis?
that. I just told that to somebody and they had never heard
And I was
it
asked,
before.
that is the
And the
pronunciation.
guy I was
of
trying to tell him
demonstrative we use
that
in
he was
court.
an
Like, that-
asshole.
It's specific. It's a specific term, but that is the correct pronunciation.
No objection as a demonstrative.
All right, we'll mark it for identification as plaintiffs 1295 as demonstrative.
Marty Coffee says, no question, just popping in to say I grab a bowl of popcorn and open your live. Anytime I get a break
So,
during
Mr.
my day,
Bunyan,
love the
did you
coverage and commentary.
consider,
I'll
the
be
content
hooked
of the
long after
statements
the
made by
trial's
Waldman
over.
as part of the work that you did?
Yes. Yeah, so here I reviewed the Waldman statements again. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to determine what, if any, tweets included the Waldman statements.
This guy enjoys
So what
this.
I went,
I mean, you can
went
tell.
back to the Waldman statements.
Oh my God,
and
look at those
I came
percentages.
up with key terms and key themes for those Waldman statements, which are listed here. The Waldman statements were about abuse hoax, sexual violence hoax, and fake sexual violence. So what I did is we're now dealing with a 1.2 million tweets because, we're starting in April 2020 because that's when the Waldman statements started. And what I did is I searched the 1.2 million tweets, for these three phrases. And I determined that there were 751 tweets that included those key terms.
Out of 1.2 million.
0.06% of the 1.2 million. And then as I was sifting and sorting and analyzing this data,
I mean, how do you come up with
I
all
realized
these?
that a
Random
lot of these
sample of
tweets have the
1,000?
exact same language. It was interesting to see it was the exact same tweet because I'm analyzing the language to see if it matches one of these three. I realized that a lot of these tweets were retweets, likes, or shares. So therefore, I eliminated any of those, and it came down with 95 unique tweets.
Oh, wow.
And then what I did from there is I analyzed
Wow.
those to determine if any of these terms were
Yo,
in there.
Brock, what's
And
up?
I identified 5 tweets that were related to the Waldman statements.
5
Do any of the
tweets?
hashtags Mr. Schnell analyzed include the words from the Waldman statements?
No, they don't. And, because I am rebutting Miss Arnold, her testimony yesterday, she was saying that the Waldman
Awesome,
statements
RJ, do
caused
it.
these hashtags. Then throughout her testimony, she walked that back and admitted, no, none of
Dude,
these
this is
tweets
Cameron
have anything to do
from
with the
Ferris
Waldman
Bueller.
statements.
He can't
They don't
bore
include the Waldman
anybody.
Statements. These hashtags are only
This is
hashtags
brutal.
that Schnell,
Yeah, it
in
really
his
is.
opinion, felt that they were negative towards Miss Heard.
Based on your
Felt.
expertise, what
Felt.
are your overall opinions about Mr. Schnell's testimony and the Twitter hashtag data?
Mr. Schnell provided no evidence that any of the tweets were related to the Waldman statements. Mr. Schnell, there's no correlation there. He also provided no evidence that there's any causation that, the Waldman statements caused any economic harm towards Ms. Heard.
Your Honor, I'm about to switch to a different topic. I don't know if you want to break or push.
All right, it's going to be a little while, I assume.
A little bit more, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and break for lunch, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, do not discuss the case and do not
All
do
right,
any
so it'll
outside
be
research, okay?
1:35. Crap. I got to be somewhere at 2. Ah, crud.
The Herd team's going to get transfusions for lunch.
Ah!
I mean, this guy's laying pipe on the argument here, on the analysis. He's like, well, I like that Rob Schnell agreed with me. I mean, that's bad that you have the other expert
All right,
agreeing
we'll
with
come
your
back at
expert.
1:40 then? Is that right? All right, thank you, Your Honor.
What do you
That's
agree with you
true,
on?
it is
Well, that
bad.
he failed to do.
Let's
the
hear
thing that
what
he's supposed
these
to
guys
do.
have to say
he
for a
agreed with
second.
me that he failed on that. Oh,
Mainly
God.
because
that's terrible.
Legal Mindsets there,
These are
who is
5 tweets out of 1.2 million.
Grimm's
come back
Bar
with some sort of
associate.
thing linked to Waldman,
And we want
shows
to
that
support
that's
our,
not
our
the
buddy
defamatory
Grimmy.
issue, unless those tweets were from like, you know, Vin Diesel or something, which purportedly they're not.
Well, Nick, I think we're going to have another lawsuit to cover, and it's going to be the lawsuit that Catherine Arnold brings against Marks and the accountant for ending her career. Like R.I.P.
Yeah, well, except the problem is she doesn't have any career to speak of outside of being an expert witness. So, like, she's.
Have you seen her website?
Oh yeah, have you guys seen
No.
this?
Oh, I'm going to send it to you real quick. Hold on. I'm going to get this for you.
This is great.
Gold. This
Watch
is so
this.
gold. You're gonna love this. She's also got like a dating type page on here, which is great.
Of course she does.
Yeah.
But she loves talking about those male superheroes.
Private chat.
She gave a happy little smirk every time one of them was mentioned.
TheEntertainmentExpert.com.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Here we go. Look at this. So here, Catherine Arnold, the entertainment expert. Here's her
Uh-oh.
cases.
Jules is the only person who hit like.
Sampling of
You guys got to hit the like button. You guys got to subscribe.
Kaziak, Tropin, and Throckmorton.
Seriously, it's not
David
for
Boyes,
me.
Boyes Schiller
Anything.
Firm
It's
Group
just,
with
it's,
Impala Partners.
to fight
For the
all this
defendant's
stuff that you
unfair
see them
trade
talking
practices,
about.
Promissory estoppel. Okay.
It's to keep that
Jenner and
algorithm
Block
going.
For Waverly Kafanga and the estate
So they
of John
don't-
Steinbeck versus
Y'all
Thomas
know
Steinbeck.
I'm going to
Gail
totally get
Steinbeck,
silenced this year.
and
You
the
know
Paladin
that.
Group. So they were against
Elections are this
Steinbeck's
year.
kids. She was for the plaintiff. Let's see. Attorneys for Arco Films. What else do we have? So services.
Go to about real quick though. Go to about real quick. This is the one that's like the dating profile page, you know.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Who's
I've
this
had the
chick?
pleasure of pursuing a very interesting and diverse career that has straddled the studio and independent film world,
Straddled
as
the
well as
studio.
straddled sponsorship and fundraising programs. Starting out as an executive at the Maltese companies, I worked on television and feature film projects financed by Wall Street ad agencies. In that capacity, I oversaw the production of Pound Puppies: The Legend of Big Paw, an animated
Pound
feature produced
Puppies.
with Kushner Locke, and was the associate producer on Manhunt Live: The Search for the Green River Serial Murderer, a live television special with Patrick Duffy. At the Goober Peters Entertainment Co., I was involved in the development of feature films with the company that produced Rain Man, Batman, Tango, and Cash. Wait. Notice how that's worded.
Yeah, the
Very
company that produced.
The
I
company,
was
yes.
involved with the development of films with the company that produced those, among
No,
others.
but she
I
comes
went-
back strong, Nick. I mean, because she was the associate producer on Pizza Man.
Pizza Man.
Well, you know what's funny too? Didn't they ask her about Batman, and didn't she like not even know who was like starring in Batman and who was anything about Batman? Didn't they?
She knew
yeah,
George
she must-
Clooney. She knew George Clooney was Batman. She said, "Oh yeah, I know that one."
Yeah, she had that poster.
I know George. Yeah.
Nobody
So,
cares about
Pizza
George
Man,
Clooney,
written and directed
Batman.
by John Lawton of Pretty Woman fame. So is John Lawton like just a one-hit wonder, then wrote the illustrious and inimitable Pizza Man? What's pizza? If I type in Pizza Man movie, I'm getting a bunch of porn hits. I bet
You're gonna get porn. You're gonna get porn. Yes.
Oh, Pizza
Hey, I'm here
Man
to
starring
deliver your
Bill
big
Maher
sausage
from 1991.
Was that before or after Religulous? I think that's before actually.
4.4 out of 10 on IMDb. Pizza Man is on a quest to get $15.23 when someone orders one. He uncovers a plot to rule the world and stops at nothing to get his pay. Oh, God.
I mean, that sounds like the movie I wrote in the 5th grade.
Not to be confused with the 2015 film from India, Pizza Man. 87 minutes. Critical reception. The Los Angeles Times wrote a review of the film. Lawton has a real winner in Mar, a hairy-chested macho guy with a great sense of humor, and with also the femme fatale of his plot, Annabelle Gurwitch, who has no trouble being glamorous and funny at the same time. Hey, there you go. That's a good review. Movie review is Pizza Man has
Now
the
you know
right
I don't trust
ingredients.
reviews.
Between Pizza Man and Pound Puppies, that
No
also sounds like a
pineapple.
porn. I'm sorry, like both of those do not sound good.
Let's see.
Pound Puppies does sound like a porn.
Pound Puppies definitely sounds like porn.
How?
Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is a Rick and Morty movie. It's too off the wall, too artless in style, and just plain too smart for the mainstream. But it has all the ingredients for accruing a cult following.
Oh yeah, it'll be good one day.
I
babe.
just never did though. Pretty sure. So she did Pizza Man. A big
Pizza
shift in my
Man.
career occurred.
Anybody
with my
have a
partnership
link
with
to,
Louis Venosta?
Let me
Wrote and
see evidence
co-produced the Mel
about how
Gibson
the
romantic
general
comedy
public feels
Bird on
about
a
Amber
Wire,
Heard's
as well as this TriStar release
wish.
The Last Dragon. Great.
Anybody know
It's all things other people did.
have a link to
We
Pizza
launched
Man?
Venosta's directing career with the highly acclaimed feature short film The Coriolis Effect, which won the 1994 Venice Film Festival in its category. Well, where does career go after that?
Mm-hmm.
Nevada. Cowboys and Angels. Oh, I thought it was Cowboys and Aliens. That movie
Yeah.
was trash.
That was funny.
I hated that movie so much.
It was, but Nick, it's one of those that's so bad it's funny.
Yeah. Okay. So here's that. What's her services?
Oh, you know what she does.
Economic damage and
Whatever you
loss.
want.
Film finance. Film.
Yeah,
so
whatever
she's
you
just
want.
an expert witness.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
all she does.
that's all she does.
I have served on over 6 matters involving loss of wages and economic damage claims ranging from 200,000 to 250 million. Have provided expert testimony, reporting, consultation, financial forecasting, and referrals for clients in both federal and state courts on cases regarding copyright infringement, breach of contract, yada yada yada. Media. Chinese cash promises to evaporate from Hollywood. 2018.
Oh no, we got to simp for China again, guys.
Oh no.
That's her last thing was 2018. Okay. Articles.
Hey, I am not,
Hollywood joined the global movement to isolate
It was
Russia
Depp
within
stuff for
hours.
this clown show.
Okay.
Real ridiculous.
Oh my God, she's got. I mean, go down that list. You get to the third or fourth one, and it's
Yes.
2014 already.
Yeah, here we go.
That's about it.
Yeah, you're right.
2014 was quite some time ago, folks.
A case study: Guild residual calculations, studio versus
The thing,
independent
guys,
film
what you
finance
want to know
model.
how time moves on the
Okay,
internet?
well there you go. That's Catherine Arnold. The
Anybody remember the
entertainment
volcano
And look at our article.
that blew
It's
up
not even
in
one
the
a year.
Pacific Ocean? That was 3 months ago.
Are they even about her, or is
After
she
that week,
incidentally
never heard
mentioned?
another thing
She's
about it.
not the author of the articles, is she?
Yeah,
so
looks
anyway.
like it. Looks like it.
Oh, she is the author?
The one I clicked, anyway.
Okay. I wouldn't recommend clicking on more than one. It could be very dangerous
Ah.
to your health. Okay, let me since we have some lunchtime. Well, I guess impressions on the beginning of the day
All right.
from the panel here.
I mean, all the witnesses they've called so
That
far have
sucks.
been
Now I
good.
can't do
I mean,
anything. I
think
gotta hold
that,
this.
everything
Oh.
from Hamada to Marks to everybody else. Oh, what's up, DUI guy?
Thanks,
Hey,
RJ.
boys, how are you?
Hey, good man.
Oh,
how
this
are you?
guy's there. He's actually there. No,
Pretty
he's not.
good,
I thought he
man. What
was.
a fucking day, huh?
Yeah. What's the buzz in the jury room? Are people? I've been really curious if jurors
But
are
he
going to
is
start
there.
perking up on Johnny Depp's rebuttal.
So I was actually surprised that they rested this morning rather than resting yesterday. But I guess to not give the plaintiffs time to prepare is my only understanding of the matter. I've never seen the defense resting like at 9 o'clock in the morning on the following day, so that was new to me.
Yeah, because they
but,
knew the more they talked, the
after,
worse it was.
Johnny Depp's team started putting on their witnesses. I mean, every single witness had something valuable to provide, and the jurors, if I can just summarize, because I'll go into detail later on my stream
All right, here
later
we go.
tonight. But to summarize, the jurors are very perked up,
wow.
especially number 8 and number 7,
Ooh.
and even number 9 to an extent. Those are the most visibly, noticeably perked up. They're paying attention. They're taking notes. They're leaning forward. I mean, that is usually a very huge indicator. They were not doing the same when when Amber Heard's witnesses were testifying. They were more leaning back and kind of apathetically observing. And today, they're very alert. They're paying attention. They are showing interest, and not surprisingly.
Yeah, I see. I was wondering if they were in. Oh my gosh, if they were entirely checked out for the trial, or if they were just kind of checked out for Amber Heard. I think it's very telling that they're basically checked out during Amber Heard's witnesses and her case in chief. Now that rebuttal's on, Johnny's people are back in the stand. They seem to be more interested. I think that indicates that maybe they're. I hate to make any prediction, but that tends to indicate, in my opinion, that they're at least listening and maybe empathetic to the claims of Johnny Depp's case more than Amber Heard's case.
Yeah, and we have the privilege, like I said, in a majority of my cases, they usually last no more than a day, on extremely rare occasion, 2 days. And any trial lawyer worth their salt will say that it is very difficult, even if you look at the jury, stare at them, if you have like somebody staring at them the entire time, that may not necessarily be an indicator of where their minds are as to how they're sitting, who they're listening to. But because of the length of this trial, because of our ability, I mean, this is my second week, my 4th day total observing this jury. So I'm in a unique position to report a little bit more intimately on it. I can tell you that there is definitely a noticeable difference. And I know I'm biased. Obviously, I'm Team Johnny Depp. Let me just say that right now. I am a biased observer, okay? I have an opinion of who I want to win. But at the same time, I'm trying to remain as unbiased as possible as to what I'm seeing and observing. But here's the problem. Jurors are people too. And just like we are people observing this, they're on the inside, we're on the outside looking in. And it's very possible that we may just be of the same opinion. And so far, it's showing that their levels of interest peak more towards testimony that is bolstering Johnny's case and hurting Amber's case. Although I will say this, there was one moment, this is a very notable moment, when it was the accountant. The accountant said, it is possible to receive roles. I have it written down, something about receiving roles, like Rittenhouse. Rottenborn tried to like interrupt him, and he just kept going. But his statement was very, very, very good for the defense, right? It was like supporting actresses like can receive follow-up roles or whatever the hell he said going forward. And I looked at Amber Heard's table and she was just like, she was like cheering, like, oh my God, like looking at Elaine, like, woohoo, like we got what we wanted. And I'm like, you do realize that's like 1%.
Cool Frog, I
think
case, right? Julie might be on a different
but that statement did help, so I can understand her excitement. She was visibly cheerful. But here's the follow-up, right? This is what you didn't see. If you didn't see that, this is what you definitely didn't see. The jury, when she did that, they just kind of looked at her like,
yeah. Has anybody heard from Mountain Girl 2 and 2?
And especially showing that kind of emotion in a courtroom
Taco
as
Tuesday.
The defendant.
So, the other day she sounded like she was taking a break from YouTube.
Question.
They've been absent for,
you can't take this stuff serious.
To be fair to her PR team, David Grab Ass Shane may be looking for asses to grab. I mean, that might be what's going on.
He's got his own legal problems.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
I'm not privy to that information. I've been stuck in this courtroom basically, so I live and breathe this trial right now.
Yeah, no,
ID crisis.
As long as you're not on Rhea, DUI guy. If you're on Rhea, be careful. I'm just saying, don't come over to David.
On Rhea, what's on Rhea?
That's an exclusive dating app for celebrities.
Really?
Yes, it's like the League, but
I had no idea.
Exclusive.
Yeah, you could meet Amber Heard. Think about it.
No,
yeah, her PR guy David Shane has some hashtag Me Too allegations of his own that he's been dealing with ever since being hired. That's the joke. That's why I call him David the Grab Ass Shane.
Rhea thing. I want to see.
Although here's another.
He hasn't grabbed my ass technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's another fun fact. So I apparently was wrong. I tweeted, I think it was yesterday, where I looked over and it was Farron actually who pointed it out because I wasn't even
unconstitutional
thinking in that
or
direction,
not.
But Farron, being a reporter, she was sitting right behind me. She's a staple on Joe Logic's channel. Farron said she pointed to the seat where the court TV reporter is supposed to sit, Ms. Painter, and she was like, look, it's 11 o'clock and she's not there. And on Twitter last night, I called her out. I was like, how the hell is she, can she report on this trial if she's not here? I even joked, I made a crack about the sketch artist. There's a sketch artist in the courtroom next to the photographer. I'm like, the sketch artist is doing a better job than her because she's there for 100% of the trial. I made that joke. And this morning, last night in the stream, I was told, and I understand now, that Ms. Painter watches this trial remotely, and she's actually working very, very hard. So I tweeted a retraction that this is before I
Never
had a chance to talk
apologize.
to her. This morning, I tweeted a retraction of my statement, last night's statement, and because she did kind of try to talk to me, and today she was very, very standoffish for all the rightful reasons. And I said, look, I apologize. I already tweeted about it. I did not mean any harm. And now we kind of started chatting a little bit, and she really is. She's actually pretty cool. So maybe we'll have a chance to coordinate. I'll find out what Court TV is doing on all this.
She seems cool. I imagine she's probably mad at me because I called her out for being a pawn of the defense when she was, because the Court TV exclusive reporting was that they were bringing Johnny Depp, and then they didn't bring Johnny Depp, of course, on the defense's case in chief. And I think that was gamesmanship that they played, and I think they played the PR angle on that to get eyes on their experts specifically. Oh, we're gonna call Johnny Depp right away Monday morning. Then suddenly it's not him, but 3 experts, and probably their 3 best ones. So they got a lot of eyes drawn in and attention, and then didn't have to call him. And I think that maybe Chanley got played a little bit by their team.
And for the first time in my life, you guys, I can tell you, I have intel that I possess right now that I can't even share with the world, and that is a very
can't share with the
unique
world?
feeling. I've never been in such a position before. It will be revealed later, but I cannot reveal it at this time.
No, well, that's very, very cryptic, you fed.
I have information to share with the world that I've never.
It's really not DUI guy; it's the FBI guy.
Yeah,
it's the FBI guy. That's right.
Did anybody else
right
make
here.
it? Did anybody else make it into the court with you today? I know
Information
James
for the
Report did
world.
not. Did Farron make it in?
Amber Heard
Well, Farron
has a
didn't
crush
even
on
drive.
me, and I wasn't
We
supposed to
only had
share
one
that.
line holder. Well, we were supposed to have 2.
But I
we
just
had
y'all are so
Jamie,
loyal
who's
and
a
everything. I
local,
just
and
feel
then
like
we
you
had
need to
Carla
know that. Amber
from
Heard
New
has a crush
Zealand.
on the expert. I
Okay.
can't help it.
All right.
I
And
expected
when
it,
we reached out, we were like, "Hey,
it's just,
so wait, what is going on here? Are you going to
it's
be
a weight
coming?"
I
And she's
bear,
like, "Yeah, I'm in
but-
New Zealand." Basically, like, what do I need to
It's-
do? And we're like, "I
it
don't
is what
think
it
this is
is.
happening." So we have one person,
Nothing to brag about.
but nobody else
Kinda
was there. I
hurts.
know Rob can't. I can't do it because I already talked to him a few days ago. I know Joe left. I don't think Nate's coming because he indicated at one point. I know that Ian is coming tomorrow, but not for the trial. He'll be there in the trial Thursday and Friday because he's flying in tomorrow morning.
Dudes are flying in for
and
this?
So James was supposed to make it in, but somehow he got bumped from 91 or 93 to like 103 or some bullshit. So he barely missed the cutoff. Scott was sleeping. We didn't have a spot for Scott either. So unfortunately, it's just me again. I'm on the front lines.
There you go. You're in the trenches.
But
you're Richard Marx.
let me
The rest
just-
of them are Kathleen Arnold.
Let me just get the shout out real quick. So tomorrow, as according to my last conversation with Rob, which is a few days old now, Rob said he was planning on being there tomorrow. Do you guys have confirmation of this?
I haven't talked to Rob.
Okay.
I
I'll
can't
text
confirm.
him later. We'll see if what he's up to and if he is able to make it so we can save a
I
spot
don't
for
know who
him.
this is.
And then I know Ian is going to be flying in tomorrow. Like I said, that's all but confirmed because he tweeted about it. And it's true. If he tweeted about it, of course.
Yeah.
So
if it's
Thursday,
it's the fact if it's tweeted.
exactly. Thursday, Friday, he should join us. And ideally, if this is gonna work out the way I hope it will, Friday is basically gonna be getting the band back together because the first day was the 3 of us, and now the last day is gonna be the 3 of us back together again, which is gonna be a statement in and of itself.
Yes, with your Triforce powers combined, all of law nerdery will congeal inside the
Law
courtroom
nerdery.
and create like a pink dome, like in Ghostbusters 2, preventing all the heathen Karens from entering the courthouse. There'll be a
Whoa! I
crusted-
wouldn't go that far, Nick. I would not go that far. The heated Karens are the.
Well, hold on though.
Let me tell
DUI
you,
guy.
it is a sight to behold. Sorry, let me just finish on this real quick,
Yeah.
because this is another thing you guys don't see. It is a sight to behold when Johnny Depp stands. So after the judge leaves, everybody remains standing like a statue. You can't even get out. Even if you wanted to, you can't get out because everybody's still blocking the exit, nobody moves from their pews. And Johnny, as soon as like Johnny starts walking towards the back door, he turns around, he gives this little wave to everybody, and everybody, of course, reacts. And it sounds like a hen, like a what do you call that? Where you hold chickens? What's that thing called?
A roost.
A coop?
A coop?
Like a chicken coop?
A coop. It sounds like a coop of clucking hen. I swear to God, it's like a like every girl in the room is just going gaga over him, and it's. I wish you guys could see it. I've never seen anything like it.
Oh, I'm sorry for this guy.
It's got to be a little bit weird. It's got to be a little bit weird. So what was the?
No, it's not.
Were there
First
any
couple
major
times
points
maybe, but you know,
today
you used
that
to
really
it.
stuck with you?
It's just
Not like
people.
from a jury perspective, but in the case itself. You mentioned the one with the accountant, but anything else like really stand out to you about any particular witness or any testimony, or in the alternative, if there's no particular moment, what witness do you think has been the most engaging and effective so far?
Marks, hands down. Marks.
Carl.
They were absolutely enamored with Marks. They enjoyed listening to the whole spiel of. Well, hold on. I'm sorry. I have so much information in my head. It's hard to sort it out at this time. I need to time to process it all.
I got you.
Marks was talking about. He's the one who helps coordinate getting gigs. Yeah. And when he started basically annulling. Well, I mean, both of them, Marks and the other guy, they were both basically calling Arnold a hack, and the fact that her testimony is not substantiated by any evidence, is not based on any facts or data. I mean, the jury was just eating it up by the spoonful. I mean, you could see they were just like, this was interesting to them. They were, like I said, they were leaning forward. They seemed engaged. Whereas with Arnold yesterday, my notes did say that they were a little bit more aloof. They were a little bit more distant to Arnold. And it comes as no surprise. So I think, whereas yesterday, Arnold and Spiegel and Moore, they were all
King Frog
detrimental to Amber Heard's case. Well, today is the complete opposite. Marks and the accountant and the other guy, the tweets guy, they were all very not only just helpful for Johnny, the jury seems to find them interesting. They're engaged.
Right.
They're paying attention. They're listening. So I think today so far has been a good day, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen.
The Mao outfit.
What's been the low point of the day? For me, it was the hand doctor. I thought that was a complete letdown on testimony. It was very forgettable. He didn't testify to how the injury might have occurred or anything like that. It was just like, oh, I put a cast on him and he had a cast. And I was like, oh, okay.
It's funny you say
Explain
that,
to
Nick,
me that-
because as soon as you brought it up, I was like, oh, yeah, we had a cast doctor who testified
I
today.
forgot about it.
So
Yeah.
if that tells you anything.
Yeah, that's so I'm glad I'm in good company there, because that was like, it was like, man, I was excited for that guy. I'm like, here's the treating physician. He can talk about what his opinion of the injuries were, and it
That's
was
so
just
weird
like,
because I know he wasn't on there long, but I liked him.
So I thought that was a letdown.
I thought it was necessary. He backed up.
Do you have
all
any
the
indication of
claims
what's coming
that,
next? I mean, they're still on cross.
Yeah.
They're still on direct.
So
of
the
this,
first week.
the
I mean, do
statistics
you
guy.
realize that?
Yeah. How does
as a
Captain
juror,
Nerd
this
play
is
out
3
in court?
weeks.
Like this,
How do you
this
keep
guy
up
who's
with
on there
all
right
this?
now? Because this guy like is the he's the leader of the math team and the chess team, and he wrote a computer algorithm to have both
Oh,
those
my
clubs
homeboy.
fight.
He's on the chess team? What the fuck? I need to hook up with this guy and then play some chess. He'd probably whoop my ass though.
That's
Yeah.
dumb, dude.
He would. Yeah, he would.
That guy would
Yeah,
beat
of
you with
course he
math.
would.
He's beaten Deep Blue blindfolded.
He wrote Deep Blue and then beat it. So yeah, how's he coming across? What are you getting out of him?
I can tell you right now, juror number 7 is a nerd, almost all but guaranteed, because he is
In love.
absolutely in love with the demonstratives.
Okay.
Wait,
Anything
can you
you're
say,
looking-
hold on,
Cut
hold on.
out?
Can I ask whether that juror is Asian?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay, just clear. Just want to
Number 7 is our Irish boy, our redhead Irish boy.
Uh-oh.
Got it.
Okay.
He seems cool. Like, he's the kind of guy you would grab
Yeah,
a beer
sure
with.
he
I'm not
does.
even joking.
Is there anything you're looking for out of today? Like what for the rest of the day? Is there anything you're excited for that you've heard about, or are you hoping happens today?
Sorry, you're getting cut out, and I heard, what am I expecting the rest of the day?
Are you excited for anything for the rest of the day? Is there any buzz around there about what might happen?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Not particularly today, but maybe tomorrow or Thursday. Time will have to tell.
If Johnny takes a stand, I mean that's the big thing, because
Right.
Okay.
If
he's
Johnny
the
takes
last.
a stand, I mean, that's going to be the biggest hype of all.
He's the last guy on their rebuttal witness list. If they call him back as the last witness and Heard's team's out of time, I think it'll be the mic drop of mic drops on the case.
Well, hold up. So we have new
Coon Dog might
information
start
from
yelling.
Kurt, who has been doing some research on Virginia law. Have you talked to Kurt about this?
No.
Uh-oh.
No.
So
Kurt
Kurt
is,
said that the
uncivil
rules
law.
of procedure in Virginia state that even if one of the sides runs out of time, the judge is under obligation. Otherwise, it could potentially be reversible error if the judge does not permit the opposing side, who has 0 minutes and 0 seconds and 0 hours left on the clock, to at least some reasonable amount of time, basically, to utilize for cross-examination. They can't just leave a witness hanging. That even just logically thinking about it, it smells like reversible error. And there's Virginia case law on it, apparently, according to.
course.
That's uncivil law for all of you guys who don't know Kurt.
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah, I
talked
just
to Kurt
announced
about
it's
it, but
uncivil law.
I believe Rob has addressed that and said that I think a reasonable amount of time is something like 3 to 5 minutes.
Courtesy,
So it's-
3 to 5 minutes. Yeah.
But 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so does it matter if the witness has been on the stand for 3 hours or 10 minutes? Because 3 minutes is okay on a 10-minute testimony. What if somebody's been up there for half a day? I don't know.
We don't
Is
know.
that still reasonable? Yeah.
Very, very curious. I mean, if you ask me, the time limits are presumptively unreasonable in general. So, could you
Yeah, I have to
imagine
say,
doing the
this
O.J.
whole time
Simpson
limit thing's
case
new to me.
in 6
And I'm
weeks
not a
with
I'm
time
not a
limits?
fan,
Like, no,
because I don't understand.
It's one witness.
I mean, if
for
it's
some-
justice,
for
how
some-
does justice have a
they
time
could.
limit?
They could. I mean,
right?
the reason they won that
I mean, I
trial,
understand
think,
you're
is
trying
because
to
they drug it out, and the jury was so
not let
exhausted,
somebody
they were like,
occupy
anything
and
to get
tie
out
up
of
the
here.
courts. But I mean,
Yeah, I think so. But that's the way they
I
did
don't
that.
know.
The same thing with
Just
Jody
seems
Arias.
odd.
I mean, the case was months long, and so I think sometimes you need significant amount of times. The Jody Arias trial, I was just reading about it, and like several of the people, their testimony was 8-9 days of testimony from one witness.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy to think about how much time that is.
The other side deserves the ability to present the exact same amount of information, right? And we've seen some
Yeah.
of these
Right.
cases where it's been clearly unbalanced between defense and prosecution. Particularly, some of the trials we've seen where the
Plaintiff.
prosecution has just been able to ramrod information through, even in Rittenhouse. We saw,
Yep.
I mean, essentially their closing, the substance of their main closing and the rebuttal was almost 2x of the defense. So it's really manifestly unjust if there's
Yeah,
not
but
some
what about
sort
the
of parity
cross?
in the amount of time that's given to both sides.
The cross, it's not their fault.
Yeah, I agree, but I just think time limits in general are
Okay,
unreasonable.
these guys that put their phones
presumptively,
down,
and
like
that
it
time
drives
limit
me
should be
nuts, like
imposed
looking up their
when
nostrils.
Someone appears to
Am I
be
the only
violating,
person that thinks that?
some sort of like when their testimony gets cumulative and such. I think there are other controls. So I would be surprised at seeing the time limit strictly enforced, but Rob has said it's pretty strictly enforced. So we'll see maybe how that goes. All right, DUI guy, and anything else you want to hit before heading out? I want to give you 10
Let me ask one question for you. I got one thing for you. So DUI guy, I've heard some people ask this, and I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but did anyone get kicked out of the courtroom today?
Yesterday, not today.
Nothing today. Okay, somebody mentioned it in my chat, and I just wanted to get it. And
So you got kicked out.
Somebody getting kicked out. Nobody today. Okay.
No, that was yesterday. There was these two really, really awkward ladies. They look like a mother and daughter who were sitting at the end of my row. They have spent a grand total of like what feels like 15 minutes. But the problem is, it's not the 15 minutes. I don't really care about that. It's the fact that they keep walking in and out and in and out and in and out and in. Like they're walking past me like 500 times, and I'm like, what is your deal? Like they keep like either getting water or snacks. Or are they that hungry? I mean, do they need to eat every 15 minutes? I don't know. But it's very annoying.
Yeah. That would drive me nuts. Like sit down.
Well, by the way, though, you know that Amber is annoyed by the opening and closing of doors. So
Amber is annoyed by what?
The opening and closing of doors. There's an interview, a famous interview, where Amber hears doors closing in the background and she flips the fuck out. She just goes crazy.
She just could not concentrate or maintain it. If I were Johnny Depp's team, all during Cross, I would have had my frontline people just getting up like every 5 to 10 minutes and going out, standing up noticeably, walking out, and then have a different person do it, every time.
Oh, yeah.
Coordinate it with Morse code. I have no idea, but just to piss her off. But they didn't really need any help, I think, on Amber Heard's testimony.
Oh, my gosh.
She destroyed herself pretty effectively. Okay, I guess final question. What was your opinion of the oral argument this morning related to the dismissal?
Oh, before it even started, I looked at the girl next to me and I was like, watch, he's going to lose the motion before he like Chu even opened his mouth, because it's obvious. It's one of these things like where, again, judges are afraid of getting ruled against. They understand that the standard is very, very low, and the evidence has to be like so insurmountable for them to rule on a motion like that. Just like an emotion, it's basically like a motion for summary judgment, just like a hiding for one of the claims for the other party. She wants to submit it to the jury. I think even the judge, based on what I've seen, even the judge suspects like
soccer isn't
who
real.
Has the better chance of winning here, which is Johnny, of course. But she has to rule properly. She has to rule, and she has to let the jury decide. Which reminds me, by the way, there's this girl that is sitting next to me. I don't know if I'm visible on the stream at all ever.
Yeah, we can see you.
You can see me. So there's this girl sitting next to me, and did you notice what it says on her shirt? Is it visible?
That's not visible.
It says "I stand with her" or "I'm with her" in capital letters. And I didn't see that shirt at first.
I'm with
and I started
her.
Looking, and I don't know if it's a Hillary Clinton or is it an Amber Heard reference.
No, see, that's what I said early on. I said, look at those ugly chicks. No, they're all Me Too movement
Either
people.
way, it should be banned.
They're ugly.
No, I started like kind of talking to her, and she was very aloof and like very unfriendly and off-putting and kind of like, why are you talking to me? I was just like making comments about the trial, like watch this. Or her dad's an attorney from Minnesota, by the way. She's from your neck of the woods, Nick.
Oh God.
Her dad is a real estate lawyer in Minnesota. And
people don't realize that's where
chatted her up a
Bigfoot
little
lives,
bit,
is Minnesota.
But then, like, I noticed the more I talked to her, the more she was like trying to, like, I don't.
Well, when you
exist
start
type
every
move.
sentence with "Hey, baby,"
Oh no, I should have started every sentence with "Let's go, Johnny Depp's team," and then she would have run out of that courthouse.
Yeah, so you found an Amber supporter. I hear
And
they're
she's
rare.
seated next to me, so pay attention to her. But she's just so devoid of emotion. It's really scary. She's
Yeah, they
devoid
all
of, like,
are.
the human element. Does that remind you of anybody? I can't think. No one comes to mind.
Yeah, insufferable bitches.
Well, here let me quote what
Like
was
Amber
it,
Heard.
Richard Marx when here I'm pulling up the line. Do you agree that Amber Heard would have obtained endorsement deals? No. Why not? This is a business of personalities. Oh my God. That was so mean.
When I heard that, I was like, oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
When he kept referring to her as ensemble cast, like that too, I know that just had to
Triggered.
burn her up. No, I was a very important role. I'm Mira. All right, DUI guy, let me get you out of here. Court should be starting back up before too terribly long, and that way you can eat. And if you have,
Did you hear what
anybody
the
else you gotta
judge
call.
said? What time we're resuming? Because I missed it.
I probably did, but I don't remember.
It's like 1:37.
Okay. Well, it doesn't
Sorry.
matter. We took a break at like 12:35, so I'd say
Yeah, you probably got 20
1:30.
minutes.
1:30, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Thanks for having
good,
me, guys.
Good luck, man. Thanks for reporting
Thank
in,
you.
and
Yeah.
hope everything goes well. By the way, chat, DUI guy in the description. Make sure you check out his channel. Oh, we're hearing 140 is what people are saying in the chat. Pretty uniform.
137.
Thank you, Chad. Chad is never
Yeah.
wrong. Did you know that, Nick?
I do know, especially
Chat's
mine.
never wrong.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, don't
they've
forget to-
never ever messed with Nick before, ever.
If you
Never.
want more what's it called? Follow-ups on the happenings,
Dude, that's
and
awesome.
ins and goings
That's
of
awesome.
what's inside the courtroom. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on YouTube and TikTok. Those are my 3.
There you go. And your YouTube channel is linked in the description. People can just click on your name. It'll take you right there. All right, buddy. Catch you
All right.
soon.
Yep, I'll see you soon, guys.
Take care.
Peace.
Bye.
Okay,
All
so
right.
there's our in.
I'm gonna mute. They're probably gonna do some super chats. Hang on a second. I'm gonna bring him back real quick.
Inside scoop on what's going on. Yeah, I had messaged James from court, and he said he was not in the courtroom today. So I told him to get some rest. He mentioned the line shenanigans, and I'm sure everybody who's been standing in those lines all week has got to be exhausted. So hopefully he gets a little bit of shut eye during the trial today, so he's pumped up and ready to go for tomorrow. With that, let me hit the super chats that are here.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna go to chats. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go over here. Well, guys, what do y'all think? Should we put this up tomorrow? It says there's nothing going on this afternoon. It says tomorrow's what people are looking for. What's that guy's? The first guy's not the first guy. The first guy was the the doctor. What's the deal maker? What's his name? Is that Marks? Because the deal maker's awesome. I bet you if we had 40 billion, we'd have power too. Anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think? This is it's coming in lunchtime. We got another 20 minutes of dead air. 2 o'clock. I kind of need to go somewhere. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a cap of the evening tonight. Talk about it on. Hey, we're supposed to have Taco Tuesday with Mountain Girl 212. I haven't heard from her. I don't know how to get a hold of her, to tell you the truth, unless she's listening to this or somebody else is listening to this that knows her. She has some drama over on her page. I don't know what's happening there either. His name's Marks, Karl Marks. I'm not a drama person. I mean, yeah, I like watching like YouTube drama, but there's a lot of these true crime people I've kind of gotten into following because some of the stuff I've done, and I don't have creator drama. Okay, I don't care. I really do forget about a lot of stuff unless like you can see someone who's trying to make drama for themselves, like Zoolander does. It's just, man, who's got time for that? Again, that defeats the principle. We all live on the same rock. We gotta get along together. The common good and all that stuff. What's best for the individual is best for the common good. Figure out the duality of that statement. But it's I don't know. You can't let Mitchell. It's the court comes back on at 1:40. I'm thinking Taco Tuesday. I'm going to do it instead of Nightcap. So I'm going to shoot for 10. We'll see if Mountain Girl pops up. And I'm going to ask her and be like, look, if you don't want to talk about any stuff, that's fine. The only reason why I'm curious is because I have no idea what's going on. And I know that, like, the other day she was talking about she needed a break from YouTube and everything. And all you guys jumped in our chat. It was really cool, man. You watched the expert effect, right? All you guys over there, y'all went over there and just, like, started being like, what's all this about? Like, everybody needs to chill out. We need to have fun. Take your pants off. Relax. And it was she laughed at it. I mean, she'd been talking for an hour about just bad stuff, and then saw you guys in there and started laughing, and that's awesome. That's the gift that keeps on giving. That's a force effect right there. I love that stuff. I'm so tired of this gripey, grumpy, stupid stuff, because we all know they're stupid. We all know they are. And you know what? Until people get angry, it doesn't matter. Even when people get angry, it's not going to affect us, because we're life's cheerleaders. You know, this world wouldn't spin if there wasn't happiness. So, Mitchell. Let's see here. Why YouTube make me all loud? I have no idea what is going on there. Oh, on Brock? Did she get blocked? Did that get blocked? Hang on a second here. Let me go over to YouTube, because I'm watching this through StreamYard. I say YouTube. It means I'm going to go over here. Come on, scroll down. Why would... Let's see, if that got blocked, let's go ahead and pin that. Yeah, I know I'm still on. There we go. Okay, so I love this. I love that. But the white heart got blocked. That's weird. So I went over. Yeah, Brock, that's Cool Frog had to allow that. He's a mod, and so I just went ahead and I pinned your thing, the white heart, so that way, I don't know, man. Maybe that'll help the algorithm. Who knows? This stuff, you can always tell when it goes wonky. I still haven't done anything about the when they privatized the martini lunch the other day. Oh, I need to work on that this afternoon. I gotta get out and I gotta go work out too. I'm telling you what, since Friday, I realized I am sludge and I don't like it anymore. I used to work out all the time. Isn't that weird? It's weird for me to think about. But when Coon Dog was a puppy, we used to do 5 miles every day. I need to get back into that habit. So maybe I'll do that right now. I think I will. Take some time off. I'll feel better. You'll feel better. We'll be back tonight, hopefully, with Mountain Girl. See what's going on there. I'm going to call it Taco Tuesdays. Excuse me. I'm going to call it Taco Tuesday because we may not have another. I don't know why that makes me laugh. That makes me laugh. Kind of like Jules saying the bathroom floor is drying. Anyway, listen, guys, I love y'all. Thanks for stopping by. Today has been fun. And, God, I hate it has to stop. I don't know. I'm at that point where I'm going to do 12 hours every day. I'm kidding. I'm not going to. But, I have YouTube Dark Mode. I said, there you go. All right. Just checking, make sure I didn't miss anything. Listen, I love you guys. Really do. Enjoy your day and have fun with what you got. Nobody else will have fun but you. So, I don't even have a good brand. I don't have a good thing to end with here. I need some new videos. But yet they keep telling me my videos are full, or they keep telling me my videos just wreck stuff. Oh, by the way, I put a poll up in communities, and I want you to know that despite the way this our chats go, the least liked hair color happens to be
Like you, 'cause you got that something that I need. I like, so give it to me. Got that. bite you 'cause you got